Almost down there right up deep.
Daddy child.
All right, y'all. We doing a live thing right now. What they say, we live.
So you get on camera.
I'm on camera right now. I just turn it on. I'm gonna make them mad like I usually do when I keep turning it back and forth, so they get mad.
From yourself too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I'll be hitting the button, whatever, because back and forth, people don't like that. They don't want to see my face. But
well, I want you to be like the odds around this boy behind the curtain. Huh?
Yeah, I guess so. At some point, I guess I will get a what you call it, a cameraman or something like that. Kind of.
We got Rock. I'll bring Rock in here to become man. He takes everything.
Yeah.
I can do it.
Yeah, he might work for that.
That man text me one day. I didn't even know, man. Like, man, I ain't messed up texting you, man.
Hey, that's the new thing now. Everybody be taping everything. You know what I'm saying? I do got some ideas for him too, though. On the, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I had you lined up. When we get to that parenting thing, that conversation about parenting, all that stuff you do with little man, you know what I'm saying? That's definitely got to be talked about. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, stay out. That's the guys in the neighborhood, I guess, because we came up without our fathers, they're doing a great job with the kids.
That's interesting.
Doing an excellent job.
My neighborhood, all of us had our fathers. That's a difference. I got to put some thoughts in that.
Man, bro. Our whole neighborhood, we grew up in single family homes, bro. Yeah. The whole hood, bro. So we're just trying to, do better.
Right.
They won't have the experience.
People are looking at me. Hey, so we're doing the podcast today. I'm gonna start up. I'm not gonna wait for people to join and all that good stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. They can check it out now. They can check it out later. We're doing a podcast today about business, basically. I'm pretty sure when I post this on iTunes or whatever the case, I have some type of snazzy title to it, whatever the case. But for now, we're just talking about business. You know what I'm saying? The start, the genesis of starting businesses, how it happens, what it takes to start businesses, and all those things that encompass getting business done and being entrepreneurs, which I think a lot of people these days want to happen for themselves. We are with Ava London. Correct. Ava London.
Thank you.
We are with Ava London.
Puerto Rican.
Right. It's something I ain't think.
I
I ain't think that's a heritage.
Ava London.
Right. And man, Rell, he got the Wilma shirt on. So if you.
Check you out. This is free advertising.
This is promotion.
Right.
I'm straight out the restaurant, bro.
Check you out. What's the hours?
Yeah, no doubt. Right. What's the hours?
Right. What's the hours?
We should have had some laid out.
Yeah, that's right.
I should tighten y'all up. Think about it. I score y'all up.
Yeah, last time we was in here eating pizza, we went through that. But that's another thing that we'll be talking about, the cross promotion and you know what I'm saying, the things, the networking that takes place when it comes to doing business, all those things, you know what I'm saying?
True.
I think we were talking earlier when it came to business in the conversation we had before we actually got this thing started, the live and the recording. We was talking about our upbringings and what it takes to, our parents and things that we see that make us even think to be entrepreneurial people. I know for me, I would say that I had a father that came from outside the country, and he, that's really, I can look back and say that's all he had his mind on. He was not, even though he went to college, he did the college route, he did all those different things, but he was not thinking of really working a job. And I would even listen to my mother nowadays talk about how he wouldn't keep a job. He would get a good job, but he would quit it. And that job that he had, he would try to do that business on his own. It was just something, and it was something that I always saw. So whether it would be a gas station or a clothing store, then I hear before I was around record stores, all these different things that it would always be something that he would do. I think he, what else was it? Century 21, tried to do real estate, insurance company, all these things, and these are all where I was of a real inquisitive nature, age, where I was watching these things, like you were saying earlier, with your people's inside of these stores. And you're working the register, you're doing all these menial jobs in there. So even though it's something that you didn't want to be doing because it was taken away from you running around with your friends,
true.
You was getting these lessons somehow, some way, and then you, for some reason, you find yourself as an adult, you got this business bug, you got this thing that you want to do business, and you don't even see yourself actually as somebody who's going to be working for somebody. you just want to start businesses. There's almost some type of fun aspect to it, where it's pleasing you to start businesses, come up with ideas, do something with those ideas, and then actually see them through. So yeah.
Now, I was going to say, I think instead of using the word fun, I would, in my opinion, I would use the word passion, because to me, I think, especially with the landscape with business, I mean, it's an aggressive landscape, you know, and it's tough. It's tough to do business. But I think the passion allows you to make the next move, where others quit and give up, and allow you to continue to take the next part of the step or the next journey. I think at the core, it comes down to passion, in my opinion, in my experience, from being around business. I mean, because there's a lot of unsuccessful days, a lot of unsuccessful years behind everybody that has success, and that's the stuff that people don't see. And so, you know, people don't want to be a part of the journey, but they want to be a part of the success. And but what gets there, though, what the fuel, though, is the passion. And that's what allows you to have the tenacity, the determination, allow you to have the resilience to be able to appropriate, really, at the end of the day, what you really desire.
Now, we think of it as passion. Is that something that's natural to a person, or is that something you develop? Is that something that's, where does that come from?
Once again, this is my opinion. As I say, I ain't Dr. Phil or Dr. Drew. It's just, that's my feedback. Just by observation. Some of the stuff is just by theory, by observation. I think it's inherent, honestly. You know, and I think usually, I think passion can't be developed, but talent can. And I think the key is being able to make sure that your talent is developed around your passion. And I think that's what most people have a problem with. People try to be successful where, you know, where the passion is. Because you need both of them. But, you know, people may have passion about something, but they ain't got the talent. You see it all the time on American Idol. You know,
that's real.
You know,
that's real.
But you got to be able to line the both. You got to be able to line both of them together. And some of it, and believe it or not, sometimes it peaks early, then sometimes it peaks later, because in life you grow. You know, your desires change. You know, your mentality change, and so some things you discover the latter part of your years that you didn't know on the front side of your years. You know.
Yeah, that's interesting to me. The only reason I asked that question is because I found people right here who I wanted to have passion about things. You see that there sometimes no options. For some people, no options necessarily because they didn't necessarily do the educational thing. They can go that route, whatever the case. But then you find them in life where they have to come up with something, and it seems as though the only thing would be something entrepreneurial, but they don't necessarily have it. Or some about people who've been unfortunate enough to have to go through prison system, whatever the case, and then they come home and you find that getting a job isn't necessarily what's going to happen for you. But for some reason, they don't have the ideas to necessarily, they're not even coming up with the ideas to even go forward and come up with something on their own and basically start business, whatever the case. Whether it's small level, because you can't think big, giant, you know, you can't think corporate out the gate, but it's like they're not even able to think of some type of small thing to come up with that can possibly grow. It's like they don't, passion, I guess is the word for that they don't have for business or anything like that. But for me, it's like I'm always coming up with ideas. So many that I can't do them. I can't do all the ideas I have. It's almost like I throw them out to the world just for people to actually, hopefully somebody else will do it. I'll just give them away, and hopefully somebody else will do them and include me, because I can't do nothing with all these ideas. You know?
But you know what, and that's really, I've really discovered really the last 4 years the power of a team, though. Because oftentimes you only have a piece of the puzzle. And just because you may have had the originating idea, but that don't mean that you have the forerunner. It's just like no idea, really. But he held that piece of the puzzle. But you know, we all bring something a little bit different to the table, and I think that's what sometimes, even when you get down into Father the Son, you start getting down into legacy. I mean, y'all both may have passion or may have an idea about something, but that idea may not come to full fruition, maybe to the third or fourth generation. And although that first man, you know, out the gate may see it all, but it may not be for him to be able to fulfill it. So it's being able to kind of understand where you kind of at inside the process understand, what the vision is, understand what the team is around you. So it's being able to bring those things into play, and that's how kind of you can roll things out.
Team. Does it take, that makes me think of the people that are around you. What we said is sometimes, if it's not going to be family, sometimes it may take something we were kind of speaking of earlier, is certain people around you that may have like influences on you. And these are people that you may, in some ways, without talking too illicit out here, you may practice with, when you're younger, and you have these ideas and you see who's able to have a certain kind of mind state and y'all feed off each other. And when I come up with ideas, I think it kind of like almost boosts you up, where like I have a idea and I go with it. Some group of people may shoot you down, like, you crazy, you tripping. But then you have another team of people that may say, you know what, you're on to something like that, and this is what I'm doing, or you see them doing something, so it becomes friendly competition. And all these different things start building up this character and this team of people that as they grow and get older, they're able to lean on each other and come up with ideas and eventually get to a point where they can actually do business together. But team, when you say team, that's what kind of brought me there. It kind of made me think about having this network of people, and sometimes even your friends that you can
it can be. It can come in different shape, forms, and fashion. But when I think about team, I think about at the core of it having an authentic relationship. So I give you my example, as I say with Rock. I'll use that because y'all know who he is. Yeah. But if I didn't have the relationship with him, then I couldn't really assess if I'm a fit for the team or if he's even a fit for the team. So at the core of team, relationships have to be developed. And sometimes what you find with team, when the relationships are so shallow, they fall apart. So you can get, I don't care if you look at, y'all watch the New Edition story. I mean, if y'all watch any of those bands, there's no band today that's still together. Yeah. Relationships were shallow. So, but if you get depth and substance in a relationship, that's when you can really start building a true team. And then that's when you're not really worried about if he doing this better than me or he gonna get more money than me. Because at that point you begin to get the synergy together and the commonality, and you begin to come on. Right. And then when you begin to do that, then you can start pushing out championships like the Bulls. You know. But at the core though of a team is really relationship, man. A relationship with substance, man.
That was something you said there I wanted to kind of address. I lost it because you said a few different things in that but in the beginning you said something that I kind of caught on to. But I don't know. The team aspect of it is definitely I think a plus. Now, is that necessary? Would you think that's necessary to
I think that's the core.
If you were to start something, because I really don't have a clear answer on this. Have you ever went to try something entrepreneurial?
I've been an investor in several different things. Okay. So kind of like behind the scenes.
And was that somebody pulled you into that, or what made you?
Yeah, you buy into somebody's idea, but again, someone that you have already developed a relationship with.
And was that fruitful for you?
Yeah.
So you would continue?
With that person,
or just the
definitely.
investment?
So if this person comes to me and say, "Hey, I want to try this," blah blah blah, whatever, I would definitely listen. And if it's something that I feel like it's a good product or a good service, then I would definitely consider it.
Okay. So going back, I would say with you, did you do school and college and all that?
No.
No.
Yeah.
I know you did. I know you did.
What's Puerto Rican honey? Puerto Rican honey, yeah.
But you didn't, right?
No, I did some trades, man. But as far as if you're talking about college education, my stuff comes straight.
And like I toyed with it, then I went to the Army. I didn't necessarily follow it through. You did. I think the obvious answer you would say that you don't necessarily need that. But do you see, without even having, do you see some benefit that you would have gotten from it?
Yeah, I think, of course. I mean, as I said, you can't exceed your knowledge base. I mean, that truth is parallel no matter what that is. And so education is very important. But again, I think it comes in different shapes and fashions. What people don't understand about me or to say other individuals, like you did yourself. I mean, you invest in a lot of podcasts, audio books. I do the same thing. I got a lot of great leadership. I know folks literally throughout the world,
right,
you know.
Right.
And if you came to my house, you'll see a ton of books that I have read, you know. So I invest in myself. At the same time, I had a lot of great exposure, you know, with my old man, with coming to the background with the McDonald's. We dealt with the Walmarts, the KFCs, the Taco Bells. So that has given me tremendous advantage. You know, I did anything from logistics. I had my own trucking company, but I did logistics, warehousing, manufacturing. I did engineering on the only machine that's in the U.S.
We got to talk.
Definitely.
I did import export. I've been on so that's not a lot of areas that I haven't touched, and I have had great people that got the education base that I was able to glean and pull from in those areas, and at the same time I invest in myself. And as I said, I got great leadership, so I make sure even in my team, I think when you're building a team, you know, you got your side by side teammates. You try to have your pupils, and you try to have your mentors. So you got to be able to pull from different areas, and I think that's when it comes down from self-awareness, you know, understanding your identity and who you are. And I make this one statement about team. The one thing about team, nobody has it all. You know, you only got one piece of the puzzle. But see, I understand what my strengths are. It's just like, bro, it's great at marketing and great at a lot of different things. I'm talking about rock steel.
Right.
You know, but on my side, you know, I got the corporate background, the exposure. You know, I'm very analytical. You know, I'm very strategic. You know, I can handle the stuff on the corporate side. But you need all these things in place to be able to be successful in business because it's all part of the business. But at the same time, though, you may not harbor all these challenges, and you don't need to. So it's like your physical body. Your body is one of the many members. You know, you need all of it. You know, so and that's understanding team. So if you got to have these different components.
Right. Now, with you having a college background, would you feel like that's something that you, like if you were to say somebody was coming to you to do business, would you like require them? Because I know a lot of people feel like that went to college and all that. Would you say to yourself, like, I would want somebody who has college education, degrees, whatever case, an MBA, you know?
Not necessarily.
No? Because, so then, if that's the case, listen to both those two answers. Does that make college just a pathway to working 9 to 5?
I think I'm sorry, go ahead, Tom.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it depends on what you're trying to get out of it. Like, for instance, with me, of course, my parents encouraged to do things the traditional way. You know what I'm saying? So, go to college, get a job, you know, or whatever. But then there's other people that really don't want to go to college and may not need to go to college, but I think also sometimes you can get those core fundamentals by going to college. But if you invest in yourself, like he has done, you may not necessarily need to go along those paths.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think it just really depends on the individual. Yeah, for instance, my son, I'm struggling right now because he's definitely on the entrepreneurial road of doing things, and I mean, he wants to go to college, but it's just like, I may not want to go to college, so it's just like, but he has it in him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I really think it just depends on the individual. Sometimes some people just need that push. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur. No.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge
side note, the boy Stuck said, "What's up to you, bro?"
Someone said, "What's up, man?" He's tell him I said, "What's up?" The R. Kells of Facebook. He's the R. Kells of Facebook.
He the grease ball.
That's my buddy. Man. That's my man. That's my man.
Hey, Stuck, you was messing with Sean, calling him, what do you call him? Kurt Frost? Now you the R. Kelly. Oh, goddamn.
He might want to be Kurt.
That's my buddy. That's like my man. Yeah. You know? Yeah, but no, I think it's...
In Smokes, they put another X on that shirt. I don't know what that means.
I know what he's saying. Oh, man.
But nah, I don't know. You know, that was something I wanted to talk about as far as like the, you know what I'm saying, the college aspect of it. Because, you know, myself, I didn't necessarily go get finish a bachelor's, whatever the case may be. And I know a group of, actually my younger sister, she's 30, and her group of friends, they were like, they lawyers, basically all of them were lawyers. Now I think about it, and there was a couple of guys around, right? Her boyfriend and the other one's boyfriends, and all of them had finished school, and none of them had jobs, right? And they went years. They had, she's a lawyer. She's hired, she's finished. She's passed the bar and everything, but she can't get a job. Now, of course, they want a job that's going to come out the gate 80, 90, whatever the case may be. That's the entry level for them. But they're not getting the job that they want, so they're jobless for a minute. They're putting out resumes every day. They're frustrated, whatever the case. And I'm seeing one that was an industrial lawyer. One was she went to practice industry. You had another one. She was psych, but she was was an industrial site, which was like this weird thing where they come to your job and they do like surveys on the people and the mentality, and then they come up with a game plan for the business, right? And then you had another who was a lawyer, and she wanted to do business, and then you had the boyfriend who was into marketing. And I said to myself, y'all got a consulting company right here. And it's like they were not here. I'm sitting there with, I'm the older cat sitting with them, drinking with them, talking all that. And I'm like, but y'all all complain. Y'all, we talking about jobs and all that. Won't y'all, you know what I'm saying? I know that y'all want to get a job and y'all want to do, live the dream of go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a good job, buy a house, have get married, have kids, and do it that way. But maybe life don't really go that way sometimes. And maybe sometimes you get some curves and you got to be able to move with it. And maybe sometimes you got to build your own job. And maybe things have changed since that lane was made that, that says we need to do it that way. Maybe things have changed. You may start a business, but y'all can see right now that y'all have a business right here. If all y'all basically want to do consulting and help businesses, y'all have a consulting team, marketing, the psychology of the business, the insurance side of the business, and the business, the law, business law. They could not hear me. They could not hear me. They want the job. They don't want business. So it's like they just don't have that passion, that thought. For my younger sister, I would say maybe something happened that's similar to like me and you, where she wasn't brought to the office. She wasn't brought around all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? She was young because she's 10 years younger than me. So she didn't get exposed to none of those things. So maybe that bug just didn't bite her. So she don't have it. But that's what goes back to that thing about, passion for it and all that kind of thing. And still, these same people are the same way. They're still trying to get the jobs. They're still trying to get, and I gather that 10 years from now, when they're the age that I am now, then they're going to be saying, oh, I should start a business.
Yeah, you know what? But it's comfortable, though. And so, I mean, again, man, it's...
Always happened in 95?
Yeah, I mean, but your growth is outside your comfort zones. I mean, but nobody wants to do that. Who wants to live from check to check? Who wants to go into debt of $100,000 or $1 million? Who wants to do that? And so it's a little bit more comfortable to get a degree and then go work with somebody that's already established. But the path of the journey of the entrepreneur, I said, there's a lot of hazards, man. There's a lot of blind sides, a lot of pitfalls. And so, and as I say, it get uncomfortable. I mean, it's been nights, like I said, I deal with the import-export, got supplies overseas. Some days I had to come up with $60,000, $70,000. I'm going to come up with that at. I had to be able to meet that deadline. I don't know how I'm going to do it. So you have to be willing to have enough tenacity, willing still to be resourceful, and still be able to commit to the end game, to be able to still be uncomfortable and still be able to continue to move forward. So it's easy for a 9 to 5. I mean, I could have did that with my own man.
But I know a lot of people who regret going to college.
Do you? Why is that?
Because they feel that basically what they're doing, like whatever their career field is, I guess they felt it's more fulfilling for them to just kind of go, like, start their own business and do whatever it is that they really wanted to do. But their mother or the father was like, no, you need to do blah, blah, blah. And so because you are receiving, like, a certain type of support from your parent, it's kind of, like, hard to deviate from what's been instilled within you, and...
So does the question become, did they go to school for the right... did they go to school for the right reason?
I think it's a combination. I think, there's a couple people that I'm thinking about right now, but, some people come from inner city where, it's like college is the only way for you to kind of get out of that environment. You know what I'm saying? For you to see other things. But then also, it's like if you have a parent that's steady driving and you need to go to college, you need to go to college, you need to go to college. That's all I know. So I gotta go to college. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm afraid of being cut off if I don't go to college. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
That's the thing.
I mean, it's the thing.
But I mean, but there's the harm. I mean, I don't know if the harm is gone, but again, I mean, are they pursuing the right things when they get there? How come they can't?
I mean, yeah, like they were successful, like, you know, graduated and, you know, did all of that. But it's just kind of like, okay, so now I went to college. I got all this student loan. I mean, all of these student loans, all of this debt or whatever. And if I would have just did X, Y, and Z, I probably would not have had all of this debt, and I probably would have been a little bit more successful if I would have did it the way that I wanted to do it. So,
the debt of it is definitely a thing.
the debt of it, yeah.
The debt is tremendous. So, in some ways, I must say that I do kind of feel like college is not the best idea in 2017. Looking at the turnaround to jobs, yes.
Really?
I really feel like almost like what every other industry out here in the world, you can come up with your own business. You can come up with your own thing. And I think as far as black people go, we're getting to a point where we're starting businesses and we can start handing down. Whereas before in the past that wasn't possible. You know, it was first generation, second generation. So, you know, we talking about money. Everybody like above us was like their first generation money. Now we getting to the point, some people still first, some people may be second generation, some people might even be third generation where they're actually having some money to a degree, like even with us, where we all crossed paths in life was the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? So to a degree, our parents at some point, somehow, some way got out here. They got out here. So I mean, they did some things to get to this point, and now they kind of was able to instill. So now we take it to the next point, where we have to get to a point where we're not going out looking for jobs. I don't want to get too far into this, but sometimes we look into like the violence in the cities and all that kind of stuff, and with kids, and even those same students that we're talking about that graduate in college. The problem is they got to go out there and beg for jobs. We can't give them jobs. Where it should be it should be more of a thing where we're telling them like, oh, just do what you got to do them resumes and basically go out there and beg for those jobs and get the jobs. Where we should be able to give jobs. We should have enough business going on. So we're getting to a point, I think, where we may be there. If we continue on our entrepreneurial path, more and more people get into that and come up with ideas. It doesn't look like it's happening because when I drive down I wrote down 75th the other day. 75th? Yeah, it was 75th. And then a week ahead of that, I was going over the other way through Inglewood, and it's like to see so many closed businesses was heartbreaking. Like, man, like all the businesses are leaving. Those obviously used to be businesses there, but they're leaving. They're gone. What's going on? So you wonder why people don't have jobs. These jobs are gone. You know, so we need more. I think we need more business, and it's no purpose in going to college if you can't get a job. You know.
But I do think that is, you know, for as college piece, I mean, there are some industries where that's just essential because the criteria.
Right.
You're not going
to
the skill.
So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think another big piece though is we don't. And I gotta say, I gotta really, you know, to like we've been getting tremendous support from the restaurant. So like Todd, I mean, a lot of folks been coming through. I mean, we think we got a great product, but at the end of the day, if nobody coming through the doors, it's over.
Right.
And one of the challenges I think for the black community, we don't support each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's just like if you look at Lincoln Mall, the whole area.
Don't even get me started on Lincoln Mall.
Like how many people from that area have migrated and take their money to Orland or these other areas? So the challenge becomes now, I don't care how many businesses you got, nobody coming in and support, it's over with.
Right.
So I'm saying again, for the community has to invest within itself and have to create businesses that support the community. It's a hand in glove type, one hand feed the other, you know. So, but if there's no, and I don't know what's up with blacks, but we don't really never support like we should. The bulk of us, I would say, the average of it, you know.
Right.
Would y'all agree with that or no?
That's definitely a thing.
Okay, all right. So that's why you see a lot of doors closing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to support us though.
Oh,
True.
we did have this conversation.
Why
We
you
had
say
this
that?
conversation.
Why you say that?
And I'm speaking from a lot of experience, a lot of people that I know, because it's sad though, but at the end of the day, we almost have to be better than our counterparts and white people or whoever, because
Let me ask you one question. Is this the Puerto Rican? Or is this the sister I'm talking to? Which one I'm talking to? Which
it's
character?
a combination.
Oh.
That's your accent? That's what you rolled
terrible,
with?
terrible.
That's what you going with?
Sounding
Okay.
like Jenny from the block.
Yeah.
But
No, I feel you what you're
but
saying.
no, it's just like, it's like, but it's essential. Like, it's the core of a business. You know what I'm saying? That a lot of black businesses are lacking. Not saying all.
Why is that though?
Maybe because they don't have that trade or, the fundamentals of running a business. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say all, because there are some black businesses that, are great. They can stand behind their products or whatever. But it's like, not all. So it makes it hard. It's like, I'm going to go spend my money someplace else. So it's like, do you continue to support this business with lackluster product, service, or what have you?
Well, I think it becomes even greater than just far as contributing dollars. But what about going back contributing the skill set?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I'm just saying as far as support.
Okay, let me hold you right there, because some of them don't receive that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you can do about that.
That's what I'm saying.
big.
So that's
case.
the problem, because some of them don't receive it. It's like, oh, this is my business. This is what I do. I know what I'm doing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can't do nothing with that.
Yeah.
I mean, well, the quality, I think, this wasn't in the notes, right? We didn't talk about this part of it, but we'll go ahead. Blacks are a little bit too price sensitive for one.
I'm not even talking about on a price
Well, that's the thing. We're a
level,
little
but
bit too
maybe
price
overall,
sensitive. Yeah,
yes.
we're a little bit too price
What you mean
sensitive.
by that? Can you further elaborate on that?
If you are, if we're bringing trade, so you were doing trade, or you're buying products, whatever the case may be, maybe your products can't be sold. Let's take hair care industry, for instance.
Okay.
So you got hair care industry, and you're going out, you're buying hair care products. You're going over there, you're buying them by yourself, right?
Okay.
You're not like the Filipinos or the other that are going in this whole big group and buying them. So now they're buying in such bulk that their prices can be 50 cents, 75 cents, $1 cheaper than what you're going to be selling. So when the blacks come, wow.
You're trying.
When you people when they are shopping and they see your store, they may see a black face and that $75 increase, they're gonna go across. They're not gonna think about supporting and as Lil Bro said on your dig here in the comments, that circulating that money through the community. Mm-hmm. They're not gonna think about that whole. They're gonna think about getting the best deal. Getting the best deal they can
we hold
possible.
on for a second? So that's my problem. At what point do you? Okay, now I know we should circulate dollars throughout the community, mm-hmm. but at what point do you stop? Like, are you not supposed to stop supporting them because they aren't giving you the product or the service that?
I think you should. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why.
Should continue to support.
The accountant for this company here is a black man, and I talked to him about a lot of things. He does a lot of different things. This is one of the smaller places that he do right now, and he said this thing to me one day about, I'll say it on here, Michael's. Michael's is in Matson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another Michael's in Tinley Park.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's owned by the same person. So it came to a point that his Tinley Park was not doing well. Wasn't doing well. He decided to close Matson because he knew black people would go to over there to Tinley Park. But whites, he didn't close the one that was doing bad because they're not going to come over here to shop with us in our areas. So right there we see where we can be manipulated. We're taking money outside our community, and then even if those stores aren't necessarily owned by us, these are things that are still in our communities. They're going to be paying taxes in our communities.
I won't call that manipulation. I just call that that's savvy business.
That's good business on his end.
Yeah,
it's good business. But why is that possible? It's because of the mentality that he's recognized the mentalities of the people and the customers,
right? And
now he's going to play on that.
So I mean, and that's what I think too. I mean, you got to be competitive in price. I mean, you can't expect for me to spend money and not competitive. Now I ain't saying you got to be the lowest, but you got to come somewhere in the ballpark.
Yeah.
Right.
And so and that's again, I think that comes back down to the creativity. I think that's when it comes down to really separating entrepreneurs. You know, being able to be creative, to be able to be competitive with your pricing. So even when you look at pricing, you got indirect costs, you got direct costs. You know, so at the end of the day, it's going to impact your bottom line. So what areas you may not be buying the best. I'll give you an example. So let's not to jump off into nothing deep.
Yeah.
So let's say for the process of being able to do to import, to be able to get a product on the shelf. So let's say I do import export. So that's something that they call FOB price, freight on board. So
I learned this in college, but go ahead.
College, huh? Okay.
So we may, let's say for instance, if I'm buying these headphones at $15, there's still several other processes or several other steps to be able to get it back over here to the U.S. So let's say for instance, if you may buy better at me at an FOB cost, let's say from the factory. If I pick it up from the factory at $15, but you still got to beat me on freight. You still got to beat me on logistics. You still got to beat me on warehousing. You still got to have less employees than I do. So there's a lot of ways for me to be able to catch up within that gap, to be creative. When I actually sell this product, that I can still be competitive. So it comes back down to your cost structure. So if I say, again, so if I got FOB price, and then I got duties, I got freight forwarders, you know, as far as it getting on the container ship, then I got to get it on the rail, then I got to get it, you know what I mean, from the rail yard to the warehouse, then I got to get it palletized, I got to get it packed, I got to do fulfillment. So all these things impact my costs. So I'm saying I can be creative within those areas that will still be creative. We did it all the time at Omar. So we had big boys that was buying better than us, but we were running lean. We were running with 10 people where they had 1,000 people.
Right.
Hey, and side note, just you were dealing in Asian countries, right?
Predominantly. Yeah, as far as when I'm.
Do they have bribing issues?
Everybody got bribing issues.
Yeah.
You know, but again, though, it comes down to when it comes back down to a quality product. You know, so you know, in the market you got as you said, a lot of blacks may be price sensitive, but not all of them. So you either got inside the market, you got price sensitive, and you got quality sensitive. So you got to be able to understand the market or what your buyer is. So for me, I put out a product I believe that's quality, that's a standard. So even like now I'm in Sally's, so my product's considered to be a premium product. You know, I don't compromise on the quality. So they actually sell my stuff higher than what they may sell another brand for. So again, it's being creative in these different gaps to be able to run lean, to be able to be resourceful, to still be competitive. Once again, that comes back down to business savvy.
Okay. So that's when you said that earlier, when you first started that knowledge you just kicked. I don't know if you know you just kicked knowledge and then
You stupid.
it started at FOB. It was knowledge from that point forward.
I'm just saying that's composition and price.
Right.
That's not just you buy the product and then you sell it for this.
Right. It's not a flip.
No.
I got you.
Yeah.
And that's we're gonna go back to the difference between hustling and business. But we go right there right now actually, because I think some people do want to equate hustling to business, and there may be some difference. I gather that it doesn't necessarily work that way, where you just take this flipping mentality or this hitting licks type of mentality where you just go to business. That way doesn't really work that way. Because I've had some things brought to me that was supposed to be business, but it sounded like somebody's trying to hit a lick. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to just hustle up something real quick, and not ever being aware of the taxes that may come along with this, the long term things that you have to deal with. Quite literally, somebody coming to me about starting a transportation company, and in that transportation company, basically, without going too much detail, it sounded like you're trying to extort me. If anything, you're trying to make me, you're trying to give me some money to start a business that you only gonna benefit, and I'm gonna do all the work. But I know the person didn't think they were doing that. They thought they were doing business.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it was a hustle mentality to it. I want to put my money in something that's, I guess, legitimate. But the work ethic, I don't want to necessarily, I don't know nothing about that part of it. Or I don't even want to learn about all the paperwork that goes along it. I don't even want to know about simple stuff, articles of incorporation. I don't want to know nothing about that. I don't want to go there. So I think a lot of people had that a little bit mixed up.
Well, I think the earmark of a good business deal is it always has to be a win-win, which means it can't be at your expense, and it can't be at my expense.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're really trying to assess really business opportunities, you look for the win-win. So it should be able to empower both people.
Mm. You got a wealth of knowledge over here. That's what you got. Entrepreneurship. What does that mean? That's what I was going to say too earlier. You said something about business, and I felt like it was a difference. Is there a difference between being doing business and being an entrepreneur? Because when you say entrepreneur, it made it sound like when you were talking, I heard something about, you put me in the mindset of somebody who's analytical, somebody who's a mover, somebody who's able to be like water, be able to adjust to each situation, not just have a clear, this is my business, this is what I'm doing. Entrepreneur is somebody who's able to, because I don't know, I'll be honest with you, I have not even looked up the flat out definition of an entrepreneur. But when you said that, I kind of felt the definition coming out of that.
I mean, I think it comes back, to me, I think it comes back down to being resourceful and being able to be creative.
Resourceful.
You know, so I think that's the biggest thing I think that separates if I want to say the status quo standard business person, you know. Eventually, though, entrepreneurship turns into business. But I think the front side of it is, you know, so we have a disadvantage as African Americans. So we have to be very entrepreneurial in our efforts to be able to even get in the game, you know. So, and I think that's the difference, is being able to create opportunity when it appears there's none that exists.
Right.
And I think that's the difference between when you start getting, as I said earlier, being creative and being able to be resourceful. I think those are in my opinion, again, are the biggest two things I think that it comes down. Because again, you know, I don't have to have everything. You know, if I can leverage you and you got the money, I became creative, and now I'm resourceful through you.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't have to have the money. I don't have to have the best talent. I don't even have to look the best. But as an entrepreneur, you can pull these things together.
So entrepreneur would almost be the precursor to doing business, because that's what the entrepreneur is looking for. He's looking to do business.
Yeah, and eventually, like I said, you're able to adapt. You're able to adapt to the environment. You're able to change based on the variables. Because at times I have to play different places or have different roles. It's like I have to do now. At times I may be at the restaurant. You see me over there. I'm making her turkey tips. But at the same time, you know, I'm the guy behind putting the articles and corporations together. You know, I'm the one that's looking at the margins. You know, I'm the one that's at the same time the treasurer or the operation guy that's putting the standard procedures down. You know, so I have to wear these different faces.
Threw me off a little bit. I get thrown off easy. So that being a precursor to doing business, I think I appreciate that the creativity and the resourcefulness. I think for me, that really does hit home and give me some clarity on that. And I think that people who are listening would really, if they have that mentality about trying to do business and that kind of thing, those are some real key things. Because the creativity is what's inside the mind. The resourcefulness is what you're able to put your mind on.
Yeah,
so
true.
Like for me, I would say for myself, there's a lot of creativity going on, but sometimes the resources, I may see them, but I might not touch on them. That's like a personal corporate mind. I see person over there, I see person over there, I see the pieces of the puzzle, but you know, I would try to figure this out on my own.
Are we bringing networking into this?
Networking, we can go there. That's how we segue. That's how we do it. Networking.
Yeah.
What is networking next? Actually, what you say next? Networking would actually be.
Well, definitely communicating, socializing with people that may have a certain skill or a skill set or a business that you could potentially benefit from. And, you know, having conversations with these people that may develop into something else. Potentially.
Now, networking, is that something that every person should... Because I think some people don't want to talk. And maybe that's going back into this African-American thing too a little bit sometimes. People don't necessarily want to share information.
I'm not sure if this has anything to do with African American. Mm-hmm. I feel like if it's in you, for me, even though I don't know how my personality may seem, like I'm not good with talking to strangers. You know what I'm saying? So I've been at corporate events or where you like it might be a good opportunity for you to network because you aren't really like a social person, you choose not to really interact with people or to potentially create new relationships. But I think it's important if you want to develop businesses or business ideas or whatever.
Yeah,
but it's definitely important.
Oh no, it's huge.
It's important.
I mean,
and that's one of the things that going to college that I wish they kind of probably would have built on is the importance of networking. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, some people go to certain schools because of the networking possibilities. Like I had this guy, I was like in a training for like HUD or whatever, and he was asking like what school my son went to. I told him, he was like, well, why didn't he go to this school? They have a great networking, great networking capabilities or whatever. Mm-hmm. White people think about that.
No, it's huge. And that's one of the things I think is a little bit different from, not that I knock school, because I think school is I'll say knowledge. Mm-hmm. It's very important because you can really see that a lot of different ways. Mm-hmm. But in college, they teach a lot of theory. Mm-hmm. The theory is always different than application and implementation. Mm-hmm. And see, like when I'm giving y'all feedback, I'm talking about I live this.
Exactly.
This experiential knowledge. I'm talking about this work in the field. Mm-hmm. And I'm applying right now. I'm telling you, you're going to get results. Which I said, I've been built the companies from helping my pops build a $7 million corporation. Mm-hmm. So I seen on both sides. And I seen on the other side, too, from hustling. Right. As you said. But the networking piece is huge. Because once again, you got to understand, and that, when I talk about being resourceful, when you think about when I think about network, I think about resources, and I think about what type of talents and gifts you have. Mm-hmm. And everybody got a talent, everybody got a gift, and everybody knows somebody.
Right.
Mm-hmm. With the opportunity, only way I can pull that out is by building a relationship. Yep. That's the bridge.
Yep.
So if I don't build a relationship, I can't leverage what's within you. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's essential for me to be able to network. So if I need an attorney, if I need a comptroller, if I need a logistic man, if I need somebody else to network, mm-hmm. then it behooves me to try to make her get a relationship going.
Especially if it's industry specific.
To say, say, hey, look, build this relationship. How do we make this work together? But it's huge, bro. I mean, I'm networking. I'm always talking to people, man. I don't care who it is.
Right. Now, another thing, going back a little bit to the entrepreneur thing, I found interesting, having your hands on different things. So whether it be, some people may say it's being unfocused. So instead of being streamlined on one business, you're more so thinking about having, for y'all use your hair products. Now it's over here barbecue. You know what I'm saying? These two things don't link up at all. You're a bad boy if you put them together.
It's important to diversify over here. Diversify.
We put the hair in the shop. We're doing something big. But you know what I'm saying? You have these different things going on. Whether it be still, I don't know if you still have your hands in the trade and that kind of thing. If you're still doing all these different things, but we're moving around, we're playing with different things. Is that because I don't know why I'm interested in that in this conversation. I didn't have this interest in the beginning, but right now for some reason this word entrepreneur, since I put that on there. Now I'm kind of like, what does that mean? And I kind of feeling that too about somebody who's actually is more so about doing business than the business. And then that took me to passion too. I also want to talk about that.
Well, I mean that's a lot of stuff we can answer a lot of different ways, but well, let's say first about diversity. I mean that can be a gift and a curse because sometimes I think people diversify too quick and they end up imploding. Mm-hmm. Now, I think let's say the width of what you're able to diversify, it goes back down to team. Like, how much depth do you have in the team? Because some businesses, especially if you're on the front side, we always talk about the word we use kind of, even at my church, instead of using the word balance, we use the word calibrate because different seasons demand different things. So when I'm on the first side of the business, and that's not a balance. I mean, I may be putting in 17 hours a day, just like with Wilma. You know, I'm putting 17, 18 hours a day, then going back fully with the conclusive side. But as I build it, then I can spend less time with the Wilmas, because now I'm building up a team. So that's why I'm training. That's a book by John Maxwell called 5 Levels of Leadership. Great book, you know. So when you have to begin to develop a team, so now you can begin to expand and duplicate yourself. And that's the one reason why network marketing is huge. What they try to do is bring down a simplicity of a system to be able to duplicate more of them. And that's what the key is with the training. And so as you do that, you build a bigger base. And as you build a bigger base, then you got more people. So I think your diversity can exceed as far as the depth of your team. So as I said, if you don't have a team that's that deep, you're going to burn yourself out. And it's going to be over with soon.
Just kind of put that into some different terms. You would say this: you take one thing on, and once you have learned it and how you want it to go, and you see where it can progress, you want to almost clone yourself inside of that.
Yeah, and
then you can move on.
So what I look at, what I always recommend to guys that kind of know me, I kind of say, you know, you must stabilize before you expand. You know, I take the tortoise route. You know what I'm saying? I stabilize before I expand, because again, if you grow too fast, you're going to end up imploding. And again, that's one thing about leadership or entrepreneurship. It's more about, you know, being able to delegate. You know, leadership is more about empowering other people to be able to lead, and then be able to take them and let them begin to empower other people.
Absolutely.
You know, so that's the difference when it comes down to different tiers of leadership. But leadership, you know, entrepreneurship has a lot to do with about delegating. You know, so it's being able to, again, set the pace, stabilize, and then you add on. You know, and the perfect thing about that is being able to identify opportunities within inside the opportunities. See, so some of the things I'm doing, y'all thinking is diversity, but it's inside my wheelhouse. If you understand, what I mean by that?
I mean, I think
so let's
you
say,
would know better than us because you see it. But
so I'll just give you a quick example. So I source product. I can source anything. So let's say, for instance, so whether I source this phone or whether I source this headphone, it don't mean that it make no difference to me. I got guys on the ground. So all I'm going to do is take it, send it to my guys on the ground, and they're going to get at it. I'm going to bring it back, find a customer, and I'm going to drop it. So y'all look and say that, well, he doing smart boards, so them scooters, hoverboards, or whether he doing pretty, it's the same to me. It's the same. So I'm diversifying inside the opportunity. So I'm saying the wisdom is, again, leverage or find the variations inside the opportunity. There's many different facets and faces inside the opportunity. In my opinion, I would pursue those first because, again, I consolidate my team. So now I got the same process, but I'm diversifying, and now I'm using my same team.
Right. It's a different product.
So
I can dig it. It makes sense. Moving the conversation forward a little bit. We talked about the college thing. I don't know, family and business. We kind of put that out there about family. I think for me, I'm in a family-oriented situation, I guess, and almost piggybacking off of what you were saying there. I do understand you. I think you're right. I definitely concur with you that it's a cap. If you don't necessarily delegate things, I've learned and just in my own vision, I've seen that things will cap off at a certain point. It's hard to grow past a certain point if things aren't passed off to other people.
Well, that's part of being a good leader, though.
Yeah,
which is building the next person. You know what I'm saying? Because if not, then what happens? Everything's going to fall apart.
Right. Well, I think the fear, though, what a person would say, I can speak personally, that the fear is that sometimes you build your business around your personality, who you are, how you want it to be run, how you do things, and then you start trying to, almost like you use the word clone, but actually we know we can't clone ourselves. We need to find people who fit the mold a little bit to replace. So if you make it about yourself and how you do things, you can't find another you.
Can I just give this a little bit more? I don't mean to be hoarding up the talk space.
Because that's what you're doing. No, I'm just
God brought me here to give you some
I ain't even turn the camera around. It's all about you.
He brought me here to give some feedback. No, it's funny. But when I mean duplicate, really I'm talking about more about processes versus personality. Okay. So, you know, you want to have systems and checks and balances to be able to develop people. You know, you don't want to necessarily, you know, you want to take what I have and apply it in your own person. And what you want to have, your guardrails or your safety rails has to be the systems and the checks and balances. But yet the way you go about it may be different from me. And it really don't matter to me as long as we get the same result. Okay. You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's what...
Well, that's where the personality problem will come in, is that the personality person wants it to be done the way that they do.
And that's what the problem is.
Yeah.
So as I said, so you're not necessarily duplicating the personality. You're coming back down really with the processes, the systems, the checks and balances. But you want these people to apply it in their own manner. Because you got to still give people room to be able to thrive and be able to create within themselves. You got to be able to do that. That's essential.
Yeah, if we're to be talking about people working underneath you, I have learned that you have to give people a sense of pride in what they do.
Yeah, for sure.
If they're working for you, they're going to be working for you and doing things. And that just be in management, not even necessarily owning, but in management. If you have people working underneath you, they have to have a sense of value. If they don't have that value, that's when the job starts to tank. They start to do things that you wouldn't want them to do. They don't have a care for it. They're not going to treat. But if you put a person in a position where they actually feel some type of ownership, not the word, just some value in it, they'll take care of it just as well as you will.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying that basically they got to have skin in the game, or they got to have their buy-in, or their input. You know, and that's huge.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't know if that's. And sometimes I can see specifically, like I said, in my situation here, we hire people in, and sometimes it's hard to do. It's hard to put those reins over. Have somebody else do the payroll. Ooh, if they put a zero instead of, they add one extra zero, 500 turned into 5,000.
Yeah. Well, you can't sub out your critical areas.
Yeah.
So again, trying to put people in a position where you can mitigate them from really hurting you. So that's a piece of it. Of it too is being able to understand that landscape. Yeah, obviously you want to sub that out because that's an integral piece of the business. But unless you really feel somebody that you're comfortable with,
right?
And
sometimes I don't, certain things, like I said, the personality of it being so involved. I personally can't say. I see on different levels, everybody has built something. It's grown, especially when you build from the ground up. It's almost like your child. You don't want to give it up to a degree, but it has to be in order to. The ultimate point would be that you have to do that. If you want to expand, if you want to stay where you're at and keep the status quo, that's fine. But if you want to grow, if you want to do other things, you're going to have to learn to delegate and give those things over to people that you feel that you have brought up to a degree, a level that meets your standard, and then you can move on to other things. If you're in this to expand and diversify and all those different things, if you're not into it for that, then maybe that's not a thing for you.
And you got to give them an opportunity to fail. You can't be afraid to allow them to fail because they're gonna make. John Maxwell got another book called Failing Forward, and that's a big piece too. You don't want a person to be so timid where they lock up. Where you like, you can't do this or you can't do that. But again, the wisdom is being able to put them in a situation where they won't kill you. Because they're gonna learn from them. They need those experiences. That's just like us. I mean, you think about all the mistakes we made. I mean, hell, that's really bulk of business. I mean, it's trial and error, bro. So, but you gotta give them a comfort level that it's okay to fail. It's okay to make these mistakes. You got to be able to do that. If not, you're not going to be able to get that buy-in.
Is that a safe assumption? Does that go across the board? Do we say that all businesses are practiced in finding problems and solving them?
It depends on which area, and it depends on the experience of your people. So that's all relative.
Because you set the business up to do certain things, and if it wasn't for the fact that there are going to be problems and variations, this machine would just work on its own. But we're here to find the mistakes because it's going to be issues. There's going to be variations.
Yeah, that's part of the
So you have to find it. That's what the business is going to be about. It's always going to be problems. Now, I know that to be true in this, but I'm dealing with people. We're dealing with people here. So it's always different personalities and things. So we got 700 employees running around here. It's always going to be something we're dealing with people, especially of certain demographics and all that kind of thing. But in other things that are less, like you say, trade, you're not dealing with necessarily people. Well, I guess you're not dealing with people.
I mean, you're going to have problems with the whole, I don't care what it is, whether it's products or whether it's systems, you're going to have problems with everything. Hell, the day I went in and the internet didn't work. I didn't know how I was going to swipe the card. I had to come up with some solution.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, because of the rain. You know, I mean, you're gonna have issues. I mean, no matter what that is. But again, you know, you have to continue. You have to be the solution and not continue to look to find the solution. Mm-hmm. And I think that again, I think that's the difference between if we talking about still the entrepreneur side of things. You know, because I mean, you like, well, where I'm gonna find it, or how I'm gonna do this, and you have to become that.
Right.
You have to become the solution.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
My phone, I'm on your phone playing games, sharing shit.
Stay focused.
What's it you got on here? We didn't talk about this money about acquisitions. What are you talking about here?
What does it say?
Money about business or acquisition. Oh, I got you. So when you're doing business, is it about money, or is it about I think we kind of almost talked about this. It's almost that Dame Dash kind of mind state of when we're doing business. Is this about the art of business, or is this about making money? Like, is it a race for you? Is this about trying to get to 8 digits?
For me personally,
yeah.
No, but I think I know it will come. For me, it's about the people. I'm about empowering people. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean, I wake up every day and I do it. I work inside out. So I'm running because everybody's running for somebody. You know. Mm-hmm. You know, where you may fail, the next man may not succeed. So I got nieces. I got, like I said, I got my dogs from day one. I got the Rocks. I got my brothers. You know, I got. So I'm running for them, and at the same time, I'm running for people that didn't have the opportunity that I had. That the banks don't come and they ain't gonna give them. You know, that people that you're talking about the brothers and sisters that don't want to give them anything. So I run for. I'm a purpose-driven guy. So I run with purpose. And for me, you know, I would say personally. You know, I've been making, 6 figures for over 15, 20 years now, you know, and outside of me actually doing what I did in the past, hustling direct, I've never pursued money directly. I've always pursued purpose. And the money just became a byproduct of it. That's just been my deal. I pursue purpose. So to me, it ain't about, I mean, at the end of the day, I want to make money. I have to. If I can't make money, I can't help nobody. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what drives me. What drives me is being able to empower our people. I know, again, for what God has given me, a lot of people haven't had that, haven't had the opportunity or haven't had the exposure. So I feel I have to forerun for us. So I get up, I do it for that. I get up, I see, Rock daughter come in, and I can tell her, I can knock years off her growth. My little niece in business school, I can knock years off her growth. Me tell her, hey, look, don't do that. This don't work. Let's do it this way. So I that's what I do it for. And I know that the finances will come. Because the more I educate myself, the more I, reach out to the right folks, keep a good product, and apply what I know. That'll come. The money will come, man.
Educating yourself. I know that you mentioned. I think since we've been here for some time tonight, you mentioned maybe like 4 different books. Were you always like an avid reader?
No.
Somebody at the door, and I'm scared to go answer.
Might be Dante. No, not at all, bro.
No.
I probably read one book in high school. That's because I was forced to read it to graduate.
Right.
That was Mice and Men.
I was about to ask you, did you finish?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. I finished in a weird way.
I finished. It was in the last quarter, but man, dude. Yeah, but I got out of there. It wasn't I couldn't do the work. I just clowned it.
Right.
But no, man. I didn't understand the value of knowledge until post high school. What's up, bro?
What's going on? Not much. I don't know what camera is that.
What's going on with you, bro?
Star like in the building. I see you there.
Hey, look, ain't nothing official yet, but I'm representing. What's a good one?
Yeah, but yeah, that was kind of post high school when I kind of learned. I read this one billboard that said, knowledge is power, but research is king. So that's what began to make me dig a little bit deeper. And I understand that when I got into the research, I began to get into the details. I'm a nuts and bolts guy, you know, so I understand, you know, if I can get into the details, you know, the more proficient I can be and the more I can add value. So I always tell my team, you know, the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you apply yourself, the more you can add value to the team. Because it's about adding value to the team. So the more skillful that I become and doing what I do, the more I'm going to be able to push the whole team up. So my whole team got that mentality. So my whole team listens to audiobooks. My whole team is plugging in with other business guys. My whole team is, all my buddies in the South are all multimillionaires. You know, so I'm plugging in into the different people, again, to try to add more value to me. So that's why I had exposures, as I said, to politics on the mayoral side and the presidential side. But when I look at it as being the feather in my cap. You know, same way we building this restaurant from scratch. I never done that, although I had exposure, you know, to the restaurant industry, but to do it from grassroots scratch is a whole different animal. So again, I'm adding more value. So now when I come back in here, I'm giving y'all feedback from me adding value in these areas. So I'm always, how can I add more value back to the team? So I'm always pursuing, all right, how can I continue to develop myself?
Right.
And that's the mentality that the people I fool with.
Before I say what's on my mind, are we gonna see Rell for mayor?
No. No.
I feel like I need to protect you from the nonsense.
I had a front row seat with that.
That's what he's saying right now. That's what he's saying right now.
I ain't a political dude, man.
I feel like it was part of the play. I feel like this is like my man learning about what's going on, No. We need people in that area. We do.
That just ain't me, man.
I'm gonna be a campaign manager. Behind the scenes.
I don't want no smoke.
You don't want no smoke.
Behind the scenes.
That ain't me, man. I impact different ways, man.
Yeah.
Don't want no political, man.
But what's important is, though, from all of what you're saying, is that you are sharing that knowledge. And a lot of people don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's important, especially as being like a leader. You have to share or prepare the next person to lead. And a lot of people don't do that.
No, not at all. I had that problem inside my old man company. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people wasn't willing to show me stuff that my old man had commissioned them to tell them.
Because they feel threatened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they feel threatened.
Yeah, the passing on of knowledge. I hate to be that person that kind of goes black on everything, but I kind of feel like sometimes we as a people feel like struggle is like part of our come up. So everybody struggles. So like if your parents struggle to come up, they don't want you to get it without struggling too, because it's not right unless you struggle. We don't know about this whole thing that the other communities may know about passing on. So they kind of feel like you need to struggle too, especially if they come from the South. If they come from somewhere else and they grew up, they want you to struggle too. And sometimes we even on our own look at somebody who didn't struggle as much as we did. We say, oh, that was just given to them. You know what I'm saying?
So.
Yeah, I think that's foolishness in my opinion.
Yeah, it's foolish. Definitely foolishness. It's definitely foolishness.
Well, coming from the corporate arena, I don't think it's that. I think it's the intimidation of somebody else taking their role, like their job.
Yeah, job skill.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you definitely don't want to train nobody to take your job.
Yeah, I mean, but what I'm saying is though, but that can become a problem because, like, for instance, if I have some interns underneath me and I'm supposed to show them the way, there are certain things that I'm not going to show them because I'm afraid that, well, if I show them this,
so it's protectionism.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So I don't necessarily think it's a black or white thing. I think it becomes like a job security.
Well, when I said that, I meant more so like in a circle.
Yeah, but to me, I think too, though, I look at it more as building as an ally versus an adversary.
Exactly.
And I don't care how much. Like I can tell you right now how to do import export. I can tell you how to do that. But you're gonna be able to do better than me because you still like the extra rental support.
Exactly.
So to me, I ain't intimidated by it.
Exactly.
So I'll tell you this. I got tons of experience, you know, with being able to do it, and at the end of the day, that's gonna mean something,
Right.
you know.
I agree.
So,
with you, was as I extended to my man Dante who just stepped in. I had a thought for you. It was certain people who were going to be here. Everybody didn't show up. That's fine. But
You gotta go.
you're going on a you're beginning to start a business.
6 a.m.
Basically, you begin to start a business. You're finishing up your certifications and you get all that stuff together. So starting a business, you're on the cusp of that, and this would be the first time you try to do something like this on your own.
Yeah, on my own accord.
Okay. Is it like some things? What are you doing to start these things?
Well, first of all, just implementing a strategy to start it off the right way without taking on too much at one time, and figuring out what budget is going to have to be allocated towards this aspect of it. Then at what point do I transition into another aspect of it? For me, I'm trying to jump into an industry that's on the uptick, fitness, nutrition. I mean, it's been around for years, but the way social media, YouTube, and a different generation kind of facilitating a new era in physical fitness. So to the point to where the model is being changed. So I got to be fluid in my thought process and evolve with that model and jump into it the right way. So for me, right now, it's just about establishing different avenues of training, whether it be online training, physical training, because I got to keep in mind, I'm still on that 9 to 5 until I can get to the point where I can, open up enough streams of revenue to where I can make that sacrifice and say, okay, this is it. And then in the signs of that, how do I build a team that has areas of expertise that I can utilize to where we can get into a mutually beneficial situation. So just trying to figure all that out.
So
groundwork for that first.
So somebody who's starting a business, what would you say like your biggest hurdle is, your first?
Well, I mean, with everybody, financial backing on investment. Invest in everything, because we can't just walk into a bank or take chances, so to speak, to generate finance in order to push some things that you might want to push. So it's kind of like, how do you find a way to start it, like Rell alluded to, a grassroots type of demonstration where you're just taking baby steps at first, generating revenue, but at the same time, for me, it's not just a business venture, it's a way of life. So I have to be a little bit more invested. I got to invest a higher level of self into what I'm doing.
About
so
your personality.
Imagery, personality, imagery, being the message you bring, living the lifestyle that you're trying to sell, for lack of a better word. Thank you, sir.
No, I'm just playing.
Oh, they gonna take the image.
But no, look. So let's wait. Let's get to that. I like that image. But see, this is what we call balance.
Because I'll be up at 6, 7 a.m.
My man Rell got a better word for balance. What was that again? Because I'm gonna use it. I forgot what he said. Calibrate.
Hey, calibration. I like that. But
The red cup boys.
Man, as long as I know, okay, let's say, all right, this is my nightcap, but who was up at 7 a.m. putting in the 3.5 hour leg workout today along with some cardio. Me, so like I said, I just found a balance in everything, but just living the lifestyle, looking the part. It's sad that in the fitness industry or health, wellness, nutrition, people won't really respect the information that you disseminate to them unless you look the part. I got a few people in mind that are very knowledgeable, and could be a great asset to so many people, but they just don't look the part. Obesity is a huge epidemic in our society. So unfortunately, people won't take heed to what information they had to give.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about really just tuning in to self and making sure that I'm steadily progressing on that level and displaying that. I get a lot of inquiries of people, not necessarily criticisms, but people just trying to see, well, what's to it? You posting workout videos, I was doing this, I was doing that,
Is that strategic?
Yeah, it's very strategic. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing to just say, oh, look, I'm lifting 245 or woo. Nah, what I'm showing you is that everything that I'm going to offer, I'm doing it, I'm living it this is a manifestation of what I am. So it's organic. It's not just a gimmick. It's not just a practice to take your money. Because at the end of the day, I want to implement a culture. You know, I alluded to this in the interview I had recently. You know what I'm saying? It's about establishing a culture.
Good interview, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. But that, you know, in Chicago, that has never been a prevalent culture, you know, due to various factors, you know what I'm saying? Just
health and wellness?
Yeah, health and wellness. I mean, you got, you know, it's a lot of people that are in shape. It's a lot of people that live healthy lifestyles, but it's not a real culture to where you have people networking from a business standpoint or really trying to grow that industry. Or even as it pertains to the youth. Like, that's really the end goal for me. When I look at other youth and other demographics, and one thing is sad, going back to our high school days, we had, as far as talent goes, some of the best athletes you will ever see right in the midst of us, you know. We went one. You was the truth on the basketball side. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I appreciate that, bro. I'm retired, but
no, I mean, man, like I remember, moving to the suburb when I coming out here going into my freshman year. That's all it Mookie G. Everybody talking about how Coach
I forgot about Mookie.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I used to hear. That's what I used to hear. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, you could just go sport out. You know, I mean, you can name the sports like another one of ours. You know what I'm saying? G-ball, Greg Simmons. You know. Me and him ball together. Yeah, we ball together at all the social centers.
I made a mistake and kicked everybody off when I answered your text.
We're going to have to get bro to plug back in. But yeah, me and him used to hoop together at Harlan's Summer League type demos back in the day. But anyway, point being, it's so many different athletes that I can recall back in our day that was just supremely talented, but we were never in tune with our bodies. We never had the facilities. We never had the resources to really cultivate that talent. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you looking at students, you know, freshmen, sophomores at these other high schools in affluent areas, cold word, they come in my job every day and they are so in tune with their bodies. They know how to eat. They know strength, conditioning, agility, you know, all these concepts that they need to be great. Their programs are treated like collegiate or professional programs. They get that funding. They have all these resources at their disposal, whereas, you know, I think back on our days, you know, like playing football, we would hit the weight room, a little raggedy weight room. Y'all know it was upstairs behind the basketball court. Like, I mean, it was like a cage, like literally just a cage with a 1970s setup, you know what I'm saying? It was straight raw. And you know, we had no instruction for real. It was just, okay, we're going to do this for 30 minutes and then we hitting the field. Okay, what am I doing? You know, how do I execute a curl properly?
But I will say, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
To kind of, I left high school and I went to Texas to a big school called Judson, and they were like winning championships. You know, Texas and football,
that's
serious, right?
Yeah,
so like their football field and school and the office for it was bigger. I got a funny story. Like, so my cousin's like second string. The first string running back went to Baylor. Right. He left there with the Baylor. Like, my cousin was second string to him, and so I'll be out there practicing. I'm playing football out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about football. I don't even watch football. Keep it funky. You know what I'm saying? I'm more a basketball person. You know what I'm saying? So I'm out there playing with them though. They think I'm a cornerback. I'm out there getting interceptions and all that. You know what I'm saying? They like, man, you need to play on the team. They take me to the. I'm thinking it's like Hillcrest, right? I'm thinking I'm gonna go talk to like Mr. Curtin type. They take me to the coach. We're gonna take you to the coach. They set up a meeting with the coach. I go in there and talk to the coach. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm from Chicago. I played football. I'm lying. I wasn't on the squad football. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I played up there, Hillcrest. And that man called up here. They was serious.
Wow.
They was not playing games. They called up here, and they called people like. They said they hadn't heard of you playing. I'm like, y'all too serious. Y'all tripping. I'm like, y'all playing games out here. But no, they real serious out there. But like you're saying, they had training. They were really putting that mentality into people. And some of those people went on, so much so that like the guy just spoke of, he went to Baylor. Finished there, then he went to play. He played NFL for 1 year. He came back there and became the coach of that high school. He left the NFL to be the coach of that high school.
Okay.
A lot of other guys that I knew back then. I think of a couple on my Facebook page that entrepreneurs now, a couple in the healthcare and wellness, as you put it, industry. You know what I'm saying? But keeping on the business side of it, because that's what we're talking about today. That sounds like a passion of yours. Because before you got here, we were talking about passions. So you have a passion for it.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw. This is what you want to do. You're putting your personality into it, and your pain, your physical. You actually working and you showing us your progress, whatever the case may be. Where do you see it going, and where does it have? Being that it's a passion of yours, do you have an expectation for it, or if it doesn't work this way or that way, you're still doing it?
Oh, I'm still doing it regardless. But the expectation is to become the most reputable brand for physical fitness in the Midwest. And whatever that branches off into, that's par for the course. But as far as getting back to the point of what would bring me the most fulfillment with the youth, having actual facilities and people in place set up to where our youth can have sport-specific training. Sport-specific, because they always try to steer our young athletes away from pursuing their dreams and ambitions because they like to throw odds and percentages out there. We're only one out of every 100,000 to make it to da-da-da-da-da. And my thing is this, regardless of whether they're doing it to, shoot for the pros or that's just their passion and what they love to do, we want them operating at peak efficiency because it translates to so many other aspects of life. If they can show that type of discipline and commitment in the capacity of sport, which we all know that's the equalizer, that probably more so than any other profession in this world, with the exception of maybe music. You know what I'm saying? Sports just gives everybody a level playing field. It creates a camaraderie and enforces concepts that you can learn and you can implement in every other aspect of life. Like Bro alluded to when it comes to team. You learn the concept of team as a child in the realm of sport. Period. You learn different roles. You learn how to perfect certain roles. What role is for you? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? How do you utilize those to, contribute to the greater good and the success of your team, of your unit? You learn that through sports. So with the youth, if we can give them that foundation, that base, and have them operating, like I say, at a level of peak efficiency and learning their bodies, learning the importance of nutrition, that's something that'll have residual effects. That's something they teach to their children because, a lot of us, our parents, they might eat your veggies and da-da-da-da-da, but they weren't really in tune with their health by and large. Some were fortunate enough to come up in that type of household, but most of us didn't. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, oh, don't eat a bunch of junk food, da-da-da-da-da. So
let me ask this question quick. Because Rell, knowing you how I know you, I would expect as I see you listen to him intensely, wheels would be turning in your mind at how, if you were in those shoes and you into your health and fitness yourself, so how would you attack a situation like this? How would you, if you were to be a physical therapist?
Like it in the hospital, like, move this way.
you might evolve to that. You might want to get to that. I've been doing fitness and that kind of thing, fitness trainer and that kind of thing.
I think Bro got the right post though, honestly. As far as as I said, of course the economics is always a challenge. To be able to get out and be able to build a business. That's any business unless you got relationships, etc., or savings to be able to do it. But I think what you do it with anything you do it just like Dave doing is you start working it part time until the part time can become the full time. You know, so again, I think what separates the difference is you hear me talk about what I do and you hear what bro do. You see the passion. Like I said, that passion. I'm telling you, that passion is what's gonna separate the men from the boys. So when somebody gonna get into day 160 and break down, that don't have the passion, bro gonna still be going 365 days because the passion is what's gonna separate. As I said, because the one thing about the business, you got to have a lot of perseverance because business is a journey. You know, it's not a sprint. You know, it's a journey, man. And so you have to be building day after day. You know, brick upon brick, block upon block. And again, the passion will allow you to continue to do it every day when you don't feel like it. Do it when you hate it. Do it when you feel good. You know, and as I said, to me, I think the money comes and go. It's gonna come and go. You know, I got one part of the business right now that's on the health and beauty side that's upside down. You know, but I got another part of the business that's going. So when the money comes and go, but what it doesn't change though is when you attach passion and purpose to people and something that's bigger. So when I listen to bro, he talk about the youth, you know, that stirred me up. You know what I mean? Because again, to me, I think that's how we continue to grow and develop, you know, as us as people, as a black African American culture, because they really, man, they wild, y'all. I mean,
no question.
I was actually,
hey, man, them boys.
I want to end kind of there. How to, because we got this podcast is it grew to be something that I recognize something about this podcast. I watch a lot of podcasts, I listen to a lot of podcasts. What's different about this one? I knew I was taking pieces from different ones, but I recognize that the four of us, we are a certain kind of section of people. Just us four. We put us, even, you know what I'm saying, we grew up in different sides of the neighborhoods, but we're all from Chicago. But outside of Chicago, and as we were talking about earlier, our parents got us this far, so we got this one leg up over, and now we're able to put our other leg. So we have a certain section, and now we're, not you, but Ava is 40, almost 40.
She's 30.
She's 30? Okay, fine for myself. Fine.
She's 10 years early.
But you know what, though? I'm in the signs of what you just said, man. I don't know where I walked into the conversation at, but as far as the upbringing and what comes from the parents, and in a larger context as it relates to us as a people, I could be real candid about something, and irregardless of the fact that it's being recorded, you know, I'm all the way about just demonstrating everything in the raw, no filter. And there's one thing, you know, I've been blessed beyond measure. You know, I couldn't ask for two better parents. They did everything in their power, made all the sacrifices that were necessary. They were shining examples as, you know, husband, wife, mother, father, you know, working the whole nine, career. You know, my father retired for the first time at the age of like 55, maybe. Might have been younger. But the one disappointment and the one frustration that I had and still, you know, try to come to grips with as far as their direction and the dreams and ambitions and aspirations that they tried to put in me, and especially knowing the level of intellect I had as a child, the accolades I achieved as a child, what they felt my potential was as a child. The one thing that they didn't cultivate that I'm very upset about, they never, ever, ever gave me any type of blueprint to push the boundaries and create a legacy that would provide residual income for my children, for my grandchildren, to really just break a certain mold. They always instilled in me the principles of, you know, you work hard, you get longevity, you find a career, and you retire, and you know what I'm saying? I never saw the ambition to be great from my parents, outside of being great parents. Right. You know, they never gave me a blueprint financially to break the mold that we deal with, or the parameters, the restrictions that we have as a people.
I think a lot
You
of
know what
us
I'm saying?
had that. I saw
And
a
I
lot of.
resent that.
I grew up with my friends in my neighborhood, and I went to London when I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
I went to 14, 15. I went to Africa at these ages. You know what I'm saying? And even though then I didn't recognize it, that had an effect on my mentality. Seeing the world, doing different things, going places, going to a place in Africa where everybody's doing business. You're only doing the job if you're a child. The goal is to do business. Everybody's doing because you have no choice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just the mentality. Something. That's something that a lot of people don't get. So I recognized as I got older, some differences in me and my friends. It's this certain side of me that I had the straight black side through my mother, but this African side of me was showing me some other things of people who were like doing some different things. And not everybody get that. And you don't have to be black, African to get that.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? It could be anybody who get that, but you have people out here who will be kind of stuck in that same little dichotomy that you're talking about, where you just kind of like get the job, work that, and that's that. And they're happy with that. But there's some pitfalls. We did talk about this earlier. There are some pitfalls in that if you just stay there, and you may not be happy with life because that means other people are controlling your life.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a place for that too. Everybody's not. I think Tom mentioned earlier. I mean, Ava mentioned earlier. I apologize about that. The Puerto Rican honey. Everybody's not called to be an entrepreneur.
Right.
I mean, that's just period.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said. So, and I think the environment that we all are exposed, it births different things. I mean, you can grow apples great in Washington, but you can't grow them in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think for you though, Dave, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you're a thinker, bro, and I think oftentimes we're able to turn our pain into passion, and it might just be for bro to be the first entrepreneur in his family, because a lot of times, I mean, you can't give what you're not. I mean, if I'm not an entrepreneur, I can't give that to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think again though, but what I think, bro, like I said, I like to say, bro, you're an intellect, bro. You know what I mean? You're a thinker. You know what I'm saying? And that stuff your parents put was inside of you. So, my opinion, this is my opinion, as I said earlier. I ain't Dr. Phil and Dr. Drew. You know what I'm saying? This is my opinion. What your mom was able to giving you, and your parents, they giving you infrastructure, bro. Mm-hmm. And again, infrastructure, bro. And there ain't a lot of brothers, bro, that can think with you, bro. I always listen to you. I listen to your content, bro. And I said, that's something, bro, that you can walk away with, and you can build on that, bro. Mm-hmm. And so you can take that, and that's what's allowing you right now to become the entrepreneur, believe it or not. And so a lot of times you look at, and I'll say this and then I'll be done. You got to be able to recognize the seed from a harvest. Sometimes we look for the harvest, but oftentimes we only need the seed. Mm. And so your pops and your parents gave you the seed, but you look for the harvest, but you got it. Because the same thing, it's just a germination process. Mm-hmm. Apple is an apple, and a seed is an apple if it's an apple seed. I mean, it's kind of different, but once again, but you had it, bro.
He made me smile when he talked. I started smiling when he talked. You're right.
Right. And that's the thing, to be able to get perspective from other individuals that's able to see things from a different point of view. And I guess for me, my thing was always, because you can't dispute anything you just spoke on. It ain't for everybody, as far as having the entrepreneurial spirit. But one thing we do see with other ethnicities, even if they have an advantage, we know there's some inherent advantages that's kind of been embedded in American culture. Mm-hmm. We have foreigners that offer, different, luxuries and certain amenities and things of that nature. But the one basic principle that we see that's been prevalent as far as our oppressor is concerned, what they instill in their children, even if they don't really have an entrepreneurial spirit or no ambition to really go beyond what they feel like they were set here to do, they know how to take what coins they do generate, whatever spare change, whatever it is, they know how to delegate their finances properly into making investments. Like, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to invest, you know, and that's where I feel like our people, we really don't have that financial literacy to the extent that others do, to where, you know, like, think about it. How many times you would go on Facebook and see somebody make a post about, I'm chasing a check, I'm chasing that bag, I'm chasing. Whereas they got the mentality, they gonna, you know, strategically put their money in the right places where it chase them. You know, where they making money in their sleep. You know what I'm saying? They you know, whether it's, we know bank accounts nowadays don't really generate interest and things like that, but if you're making the right investments, you know, if you put money into the right type of insurance policies, you know what I'm saying, IUFs and things of that nature, things to where, you know, certain money that Uncle Sam can't touch.
Well, I think it goes back to what you said.
We don't really have that type of education.
Yeah,
you feel
I think it goes back to what you even started with, where he was even speaking to, like when you said, like, you know, the fault that you may have with your upbringing. You had everything else that was beautiful, but this one thing that was missing. You see the hole right now. That knowledge being taught, like he said, they may not have even knew it. Yeah, but they were so busy trying to get to where they got you and build the infrastructure. That's what their mission was, to get you here. You know what I'm saying? So where you can use the intellect to do the other thing, to get to this other place, do that for your children. You know what I'm saying? And we all build that way.
And you know this from working out, bro. I mean, the gain comes from the pain, bro. Period. And that can be applicable across many different platforms. Yeah. And I think what happened to us in the black community, though, because really the strength is not in the masses until you find the strength within the few. And what I mean by that is that, you know, our leaders have abdicated responsibility. Because, like myself, let's say, for instance, I say, screw everybody. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't telling nobody nothing. I ain't doing nothing. I'm going to go ahead and make these bands, because I can get it myself. I know that. And I'm going to go on, live, and I'm going to go on, just go home to glory, or whatever I'm going to do. You know what I'm right? So that's gonna be absent, and that's gonna be a gap inside the community. And I'm saying, if I do that, I abdicated responsibility. So again, I only got a gifting in certain pockets, but that's somebody that's called to be a politician. That's somebody called to be a health expert. That's somebody called in our community to be an importer, exporter. I'm saying those few haven't went back to teach the masses. And that's why I said, and I think that's the difference between some of the other nationalities. Once again, the strength begins to have to be in the few before it's in the masses, because the masses on the averages has not ever going to have all the skill set. If y'all understand what I'm saying.
Question.
Something in this whole thing, I came with this question in my mind. We all aware of a Black Wall Street, correct? You think it's a Black Wall Street possible again?
I think so.
What would it take?
I know.
I want to hear why you say that. Why you say you think so?
Because I feel like our generations to come, they're doing things that our parents did not do traditionally. So why not?
Could we fix Harvey?
I don't know if I'm going to go on record saying that.
That kind of rough, Harvey.
I think we could.
Maybe
it just popped in my head today. Listen, okay, I done said this on a lot of people's different statuses. But Harvey can be fixed. But we have to get the corrupt Harvey out of there. You sending shots?
From a political infrastructure. No
exactly.
Yeah.
And when I say that, it's been at that for a lot of years. So now certain legislation and legislatures have imposed certain laws where now that the Harvey mayor cannot exceed, I don't even know how many years it is, but like basically Eric Kellogg is about to get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, they could have been got Eric Kellogg out of there if they stood behind one candidate.
But him leaving doesn't.
Hold on, though. Him leaving could help Harvey because a potential candidate could have a different mindset than what this other candidate had. Not to say if he was dirty or, you know, whatever it was he was doing or whatever. Not even that, because there was a lot of misappropriation of funds.
Yeah.
But if a new person comes in with a whole different mindset, a whole different agenda, they could transform Harvey into a greater place.
Right.
And the reason why I use Harvey is because Harvey is, for some years now, I would say some decades, black.
Yeah, but you've had the same leaders
and these kind of things. So that's why. But we see today. I mean, I don't have too much business with Harvey.
No, but
I drive through there. Wow, this is
what
a
do
step
you see
down
in
from what it
Harvey?
used to be.
But what do you see in Harvey though? You see a lot of nightclubs popping up, a lot of sports bars popping up, right?
I frequent the booty club.
Well, even after
Is that what you're trying to accuse me of?
Like the joint that's on like 147. I think it's like a sports bar or whatever, and then like down the street is you got the other club, and then like you go down a couple of miles and it's another club. You know what I'm saying? But if we keep misappropriating certain funds, TIF funds, and we paying for certain things out of these funds, and then we bringing in the feds into all of this, then how can we really utilize the funds properly for what it's supposed to be if we keep misappropriating funds? And that has happened because of the structure that has been implemented for X amount of years.
Right. So we move Kellogg and just use them as a trial.
Right. You move Kellogg out. You bring somebody in.
Do we say, okay, how do we say, okay, we're going to start with, in that case, we wouldn't say that, but say, for instance, it's another Wilmers to be made. They want to franchise or expand. They're going to bring another Wilmers. Do they say we're going to put it in Harvey? Well, it's already downtrodden.
It has to make sense, though, right?
Well, one thing
On a business side, it
doesn't.
has to make sense.
And it doesn't right now. You know what I'm saying?
No, because
Hey, Stuck, I can't text you right now. It's going to kick everybody out.
well, but that's because all the time, you know, one thing that's not being taken into consideration by a lot of people, politics is definitely a serious aspect of it, but the one thing that has killed, it's one singular factor that killed Harvey. And I'm speaking from somebody who, I had family members, you know, when I was growing up in the city. Harvey is the first suburb I ever knew about. The first suburb I ever went to. Like, I remember in the early to mid 80s, I go out there and it was like Mayberry. It was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? The heroin trade killed Harvey as far as that goes. And what happened, all of the black-owned businesses, there were several. It was kind of like the city.
Cliff's gone.
You know what I'm saying? There were several black-owned businesses back in those days.
I used to watch Soul Train in Cliffs every day.
So heroin facilitated a different trend, which was gentrification. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it can't be gentrification because gentrification.
No, gentrification. No, I'm saying this is what I mean, because the heroin was ushered in by politicians.
Oh, okay, I got you.
By the people who were governing the land.
But not necessarily in like these black communities, though.
No, I'm talking about at Harvard specifically.
Okay.
I'm using it as a case study.
No,
right now
they you know, like those that's in the know who flooded Harvey with that issue. You know what I'm saying? Nick Graves.
Nick Graves.
You drove. So once that transpired, it was real simple. The average working class citizen got turned out. You know, gentrification took place. I mean, it got to the point where it's so bad. I mean, dilapidated housing.
But it
and
was
things of
also
that nature. You could literally buy a whole house in Harvey. Right, the property value was so low.
Well, let me say this though.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear what you're
and
saying.
Abandoned
Right there.
buildings, empty lots.
When we say gentrification, though, we're speaking
No,
of
gentrification is off. Yeah, the people who were thriving businessmen back then, or women, or what have you, that had properties, they paid them to get the fuck out.
But I would say gentrification would be something like what we see in Bronzeville.
Yeah, that was going to be my big
Because the white people didn't move in.
No, we saw that.
Right.
After they cleared it out.
Yeah, the low end. Yeah,
Right.
like right now.
It's just been decimated.
I was going to make that comparison. That was going to be the analogy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's where my mother grew up. That's where my family at. The majority of my family.
So we
was
just
on
negate the fact of corruption.
No. That's a strong.
Because that's
factor.
really what's the problem with the whole Lincoln Mall.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
What is
This and you guys actually wouldn't know better than me, and I would ask. When we say, I would say that just Mr. Kellogg came in, and from the very onset of his, I ain't even from.
They wouldn't have let him in if he wasn't gonna be in cohesion with the machine. The machine was
I don't think it's all bad with him, but there's a lot of bad, but it's just not him. Like, for instance, what I was gonna say was like even Matson. There's a lot of misappropriation of, like, for instance, TIF funds with the development of Lincoln Mall. You know what I'm saying? But this, like, we get these funds, we do other things that we aren't supposed to do with them, so we don't get them. Those payrolls. Exactly, but we don't get them to utilize them to basically develop certain areas.
Right. I'm just trying to make sure that, and I'm not saying it's wrong at all. And I think that's kind of like the common knowledge, what you guys are saying. But there's some actual business aspects to it sometimes that take place, and sometimes the conspiracy will overrun the thought. So maybe black shoppers just weren't shopping at Lincoln Mall. Maybe all these middle class people who live around Lincoln Mall decided that that's the nigger mall.
We have to accept the fact that some of these stores were leaving. Yeah. Some of these stores were leaving, and we weren't buying the stores that were left there. We were going to Orland, or we were going to
the stores
Oak
are leaving because the same reason why we can't get we have this outlet about to be supposedly built, right?
Like
why it's not being built? Because they need for those companies to come in and say that they're going to actually build.
You know, some of that though is based on demographics from a business.
A lot of it is demographics.
You know, so they feel that if they bring their store in, you know, a particular brand, that the demographics doesn't base that match the sales.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that becomes a challenge.
Outlets typically going to have Guess outlet store. They're going to have all these different stores that we're not in this area. We're not necessarily going to buy into. And and those outlets are usually in certain kind of areas. So do we expect that people are going to jump off the expressway and now be over here in Country Club Hills and Hazelcrest?
And that becomes a challenge.
Right, Country Club Hills and Hazelcrest sound a certain kind of way, but when they really look at what it is,
and that's been the dynamic for over 20 plus years.
Those are the variables, man.
So I don't know if it's necessarily sometimes do we say, oh, Dwight Welch was on this and that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we got to put that on him that way.
No, we can't.
Sometimes it's the other things.
I'll say the other things and nail it down a little bit more specifically. Because going back to the original measure that you put forth and the question that you put forth, can we ever have another Black Wall Street?
Oh, yeah.
And that branched off into a wide range of conversation. But if you think about it, what made that work? It wasn't just the fact that you had all of these black business owners that happened to be within a certain community. Mm-hmm. The fact was that they were willing to pool all of their resources together. They were willing to make certain investments and some sacrifices together in order to consolidate this area. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? To where all of the services that you look for are going to be provided for us, by us. You know what I'm saying? So it was an understanding among businessmen collectively. You know, you got your move, I got my move, he got his move, she got her move. We're going to pool all our resources together and solidify and consolidate. You know, while everybody still got their own individual situation going on, but we part of a big collective. So, you know, as how we translate that, and we know it was a different time and dynamic. We were dealing with segregation in the country at the time. So if in order for businesses to thrive, for our communities to thrive, they had to think that way. Mm-hmm. Now, you're done for. So now in this era of integration, which really killed the black entrepreneur spirit in essence, because we just wanted to be a part of them. We just wanted to be accepted by them instead of maintaining our own stronghold our economic base in our communities. So you fast forward that to nowadays, how things work nowadays. The spirit of the people, you know, you see a lot, especially through social media. It's kind of funny to me. You know, boycott this, boycott that. We don't like this. Don't shop here. Don't watch that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Okay. We saw, you know what I'm saying, after the civil rights movement, the boycotts and sit-ins and all that type of thing, you know, it might have created some temporary strain on those people's pockets who were being boycotted, but at the end of the day, they survived. It didn't fuck up their infrastructure, you know.
Well,
but no, let me finish this point real quick. When we got things in motion, as far as okay, certain bills got passed, this, that, and the third. In the 70s and 80s, there was a resurgence of black-owned businesses. You know what I'm saying? That came from. Now you can attribute it to the civil rights movement or what have you, but for the most part, we know that it was more precise action that took place beyond boycotts. Because my thing is this: if you're gonna ask me to not partake in a certain activity or not to patronize a certain establishment, if our focus is on hurting their pockets and the real thought process ain't on what we're gonna do to create our own revenue streams, then why am I counting your pockets? That's pointless. If we ain't talking about what we about to do to establish our own revenue, okay, if you gonna boycott this business, what the fuck are we doing to establish this business for us?
I can dig that. I can dig that in the part of
Period,
this conversation.
We need our own. I don't care about whether you shop with them or not. We need our own.
But we can't have this conversation without talking about redlining. Retail redlining, whereas there's businesses that's leaving our communities because of the racial composition and not of the economic prospect.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's what I'm saying.
So that's a factor as well. And so, for instance, for instance, if we think about Madison, Cracker Barrel left, Jan Michaels left. Cracker Barrel, there's one in Tinley Park. You know what I'm saying? But then we can't bring other businesses into these communities because of what? Because of the makeup of the demographics, which is predominantly black.
Well, I think I said that here before. I brought this point up before. So I'm a person that still goes to River Oaks.
And I'm not going.
You ain't going, is you? I still go to River Oaks.
There's nothing for me to go, though.
I don't have any.
But demographics play.
I go there because I'm in the let me turn this camera around. People
know you. They need to know.
Get to know me for a second. I like my candles, right? I go to Bath and Body Works and get me my candles. And I keep my candles going. Yeah, I like my candles going, you know what I'm saying? I'm into, you know what I'm saying, the different ones, you know. And when I come home, I want to smell like a woman in there. You know what I'm saying? But so I end up going there. Then I get back in. Now, I ain't in there buying Pelly Pills and 150s. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I'm in there. I start going to the stores a little bit more. I start buying this and that. So I shop and I frequent the mall. So I say once every 2 weeks or so I'm in there. So I speak to people and I say, yeah, where you on? Oh, I got to run with the nigga mall.
But let me tell you something.
Yeah, that's what y'all call it now, huh? The
but
nigga
listen,
mall.
As a shopper, River Oaks does not offer anything to my demographic. Orland does not.
To my demographic. So where am I supposed to shop?
Roseland.
You want some Jabos, don't you?
Listen, so if River Oaks does not speak to me, why would Roseland speak to me? So where am I supposed to go?
It's in the 115th Mall.
So where am I supposed to go? So I shop downtown, South Loop, Oak Brook, Schaumburg.
Well, my reason to bring that up though, that overwhelmingly people will say they go to Orland, right? Yeah. So what I start thinking is we got this mall. We don't own River Oaks or anything like that. Whatever case, there's definitely a lot of other nationalities and such in there working. But this is a mall that's serving us, right? In our area, right? in
But
our
I
area,
feel like
in
it is
an
a lot
area
of
that we
ethnic
frequent,
stuff in
we're over
River
there.
Oaks.
Right. Say again.
I said there's a lot of ethnic shops
Oh yeah.
in River Oaks.
Right.
However,
And then we have
I
people in there
just
selling
don't-
shea butter and all that kind of stuff in there. Right. So we have all this stuff going on there.
I don't
But
know.
that mall is going to close.
or not.
It's going to do the same thing River Oaks did.
Why
Why?
not?
Because the people
Make it
who
mall.
have the money, the middle class people who have garnered a certain kind of status and money and so forth, they feel like that's beneath them. I don't want to shop with people like that
Or
anymore.
not though, because
I
I'm
don't
making
want to go
money
there.
off
I
of
want to
these
go shop
black
over here with other people, with the others. I want to go shop with the others
I don't
instead.
agree with that.
I mean, that's what I'm seeing. I mean, if you really, if
How
you
are
look
you
at the
seeing
people,
that when they still cater to our demographic
Who?
or that ethnic
Orland?
demographic at River Oaks? I'm talking about River Oaks, not
Oh,
Orland.
they do. They do.
Orland doesn't even.
Yeah, Orland could care less.
No, Orland can care less. They're still buying, like they're buyers of like their main franchisees or those retail stores, big box. They're still catering to those.
But the stores that you want to go to aren't in River Oaks.
Street from
Why?
the Square Mall.
Because
No,
people like
it's
yourself
not-
won't go
hold
there.
on. It's not even the stores. It's the quality of merchandise that's in those stores. So, for instance, Orland may have the stores that I may want to shop in, but they don't have the merchandise that speaks to my demographic. So
Victoria's Secret sell the same stuff in
who just
Orland.
goes to Orland to go to demographic? I mean, to shop at
They
Victoria's
sell.
Secret. I can shop that shit online.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Candles
We're
and
talking
Bath and Body
about-
Works.
No, it's vintage. Let's talk about
About the
Macy's.
same.
Macy's, they shop like the quality of clothes and the merchandising or whatever. It speaks to the people that's shopping in the Coldwater the catalog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like probably 50 and up or whatever. It doesn't speak to my demographic. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Saturday after Saturday, weekend after weekend, there's an influx
You
of our
sure you
people.
don't walk in there and see them dreads and pelly pills and
what Orland
and
or River
Ferragamo
Oaks?
belts and
First
get
of
turned
all, I'm
and be
not
like,
even-
you know what, I'm out of here. You sure that ain't the problem?
I'm done. This conversation is for
You see
me.
them Balenciaga shoes on them teenagers and you be like,
For
you know
me.
what?
They BCBG ain't even shit in Tilly. I mean, in Orland.
That might
so
be the
no.
problem. You might see that demographic that you shopping
But
with.
what
and,
I'm
you know, this
saying
isn't
is,
me. I'm above this.
Orland doesn't care about the demographic, but at the end of the day, there's the influx of our people that go to Orland weekend after weekend.
Right. And it's becoming more and more that.
But
And
on
that,
the
so I
flip
think we've
side-
learned over time. We see the pattern. We saw what happened with River Oaks.
But you're saying that, but
I mean,
in
with
River
Lincoln Mall.
Oaks,
Lincoln Mall.
But in River Oaks, there is a demographic. There's a presence of our people in these stores
Yeah.
in River Oaks. So it's, in a sense, they do care about the shoppers potentially in that area.
You
Orland,
mean working?
what do you mean working?
You mean you say demographic in the stores?
No,
Shopping?
not even working. I'm the shoppers.
Oh, okay.
Because there are certain things in River Oaks that you can get that you definitely will not get in Orland. And at the end of the day, to me, for Orland, they don't care. They just gonna do them. They have their buyers to suit certain demographics, whereas in River Oaks, they are reaching a certain demographic.
I would venture to say, though, in the sense of the business that he was talking about, that maybe 5 years from now, we'll see certain kind of stores starting to be included in Orland. We'll see stores that have that are selling. Not even being funny, but I cracked the joke about already. Pelly pills.
I
and
missed
all
that, but
kind
they're
of stuff.
there already. They're
They're
there already, right?
But they will be.
They're not there in River Oaks, or are you talking
No,
about
in
Orland?
Orland.
Oh, in
Orland's
Orland?
going to start to cater too.
But
And
they
what's
don't
going to
have
happen?
to,
White
though.
flight is going to happen.
Well, yeah, but then that's where the retail redlining comes into play too. But they don't have to in
It
Orland.
is not necessary. I think the gist of the conversation is that
I don't think so.
us
because
shopping
then
with
they're gonna make it-
ourselves,
I don't think so.
us saying that somebody walking into say a establishment such as this and saying, oh, they charge me for extra barbecue sauce, so this is a black business.
I don't think
That's why I don't
happen
deal
in
with
Orland.
black business. So I'm gonna go to such and such. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go to Famous Dave's only. That's the only place I'm eating. But you know what I'm saying?
I don't see that happening.
But that's the kind of stuff they do.
I don't see that happening in Orland.
Because I in here, I noticed that
I just don't see that
as soon
in
as
Orland.
an employee is upset, or employee or worker, whomever is upset with Classic Care, I'm saying names. Here, the first thing they say is, "This is why I don't deal with black businesses." They go straight to that for some reason, and they don't know that I've been here for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't seen this. I didn't seen this pattern.
Yeah.
As soon as you get upset,
Yeah, that's
the
conditioning.
first thing you say,
That's conditioning.
you start speaking to the color of the people.
Yeah, that's conditioning.
And what is that about? It seems to be an issue there where people don't want to necessarily work with each other. And if they do work with each other, you can't do anything but give to them.
But guess what?
The moment that they feel some type of way, they don't want to deal with you no more.
But that demographic in Orland does not want to deal with us in the masses. So why would they, for instance, why would the stores or whatever, why would they cater to us if they don't want that demographic?
I mean,
They don't want us buying homes and what have you.
a lot of things have to
I
happen
can
over
speak
here.
to that person.
A lot
But that's
of
but at
property
the end of the day-
values, taxes,
but
and everything got to
listen,
change. Yeah,
But
I know what you're
listen,
saying.
so just think about the even just how much money that black folks spent in Orland. They still don't reach my demographic. If I go to Orland, it's for probably to buy candles or panties. That's it. There's nothing else in Orland Mall that speaks to my different demographic. You know what I'm saying? So right now, if they can still flourish and not speak to my demographic, why would they in 5, 10 years? Exactly. Why would they modify?
Well, what happens is I think a little shotgun and them might come over there and have issues.
But why does it have
and
to?
start
If
running
I've been
away.
able to do business
Right.
and still make money and do X, Y, and Z, why does it have to?
Because the shoppers may say, you know what, I see so many people here coming over here and I see the flavor changing. It's a 10% rule that we talk about, conspiracy theory, whatever.
How long you think black
They
people been
decide
shopping in Orland though? We haven't just started shopping
5
in Orland.
years.
No, longer than that. How long has Lincoln Mall been obsolete?
You caught that little shotgun stuff?
How long has Lincoln Mall been obsolete?
It's like crazy.
Come on, let's just be real. At least 10 years. At least 10 years.
Since we got
At least 10 years.
You mean you've been up in R&B, huh, doing your thing, huh?
R&B don't even exist over there no more. It's straight online.
No, I'll tell you.
You know what I'm
I hear
saying?
you, I hear
But
you.
let's just keep it real. So, no, I don't agree with that.
No, you're right. With Orland, you know, Orland is a totally different animal. Like I said, I work directly across the street from Orland Square Mall. I'm in retail. That is what I see every
Essentially,
day.
right.
And I study it. I'm in specialty retail. And I can tell you, when people of my shade come in my establishment, it's a certain type of different energy.
Mm-hmm.
People look at them like zebras with no stripes. You understand? But one thing for sure, two things for certain. The mentality of the business. Everybody knows, you know, okay, Vitamin Shop is a brand. Vitamin Shop is all over the United States. It's in Central and Southern America, Puerto Rico, in the Caribbean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? They pay very close attention to how the demographics are set up in the places where they choose to open up. One thing about Orland, they try to instill in us a mentality that, now my store happens to be the highest volume store in 3 states. You know, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana. The highest value. We probably generate over $2 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Their mentality is always to try to instill in us that they're on the verge of closing. That retail is about to go under. Amazon is about to take over. Walmart is implementing something right now that's about to rival Amazon. And we know they're the largest retailers in the world. They're about to take over. Mm-hmm. So they put a sense of panic in the corporate infrastructure of the company as it pertains to high value stores to keep them appealing to a certain demographic. You know, I watch them every day. I listen to the rhetoric that comes from my managers and you know, people on the corporate level that send these emails down. I'm reading them, I'm analyzing them, because they don't even know. You know, I'm just kind of soaking it all in like, yeah, this is how y'all operate, and this is why y'all don't try to appeal to other demographics, because y'all know that y'all business is situated and probably has the highest, in the community has the highest mean income in the south suburbs. There's no south suburb that has a higher average annual income than Orland Park. We know this. Tinley's right there. But outside of Orland and Tinley, and you got your Lockports and, you know, shit like that. But for the most part, Orland Park is where it's at. These people averaging 70,000 a year up. You know what I mean? It's chump change to them to go to the mall and splurge on any given weekend. That's nothing to them, you know. So if they knowing that these are the people that's going to continue to shop with them, there's no reason for them to try to appeal to a demographic outside of those parameters.
Exactly.
You know, so to Taisha's point, I agree with you 100% because I live that. Like, it's to the point where, you know, when I see one of my own come in there, I kind of feel sorry for him because my college, I'm the only black man in my demonstration. And my manager will ask me them questions. You know, like, there's not a racist bone in my body, but I don't know how to deal. I don't know how to have the, you know, that's, you know, I can't lie. And, you know, that's why I have you here because, you know, we're seeing more and more people. And I appreciate it.
The area is changing,
You know what I'm
right?
saying? Yeah, it's changed. They seeing more people that, you know, more of us that got their change up and got their cribs in Tinley, they in Orland, they in Palos Hills and all that, you know, Homer Glen and all that stuff. Like, those words, you might as well have been speaking Spanish to us back then. We're like, what the hell is a Homer Glen? I ain't never heard of that. Lockport. Like, what is a Lockport? I ain't never heard of that unless you played on the team in school. Like, we played them in football. They was
I'm
way
not
out
in
the
tune
sticks
with that
somewhere.
demonstration.
You know, they was way out the sticks somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, and even Andrew, that's right there in Tinley Park. When we went to the Andrew tournaments for Thanksgiving and basketball, like, that was a road trip to us. You know what I'm saying? It was like we headphoned up on the bus, like we finna take a ride, Charlie. Hey. So, you know, things to change. You know
I want to,
because
I don't want to go, because I know I'm looking at my time. I don't want to hold us too up. Our children and all these things that we're talking about. Are we having these conversations with our children
What conversations?
about business?
Mm-hmm.
Or are we just showing them?
Well, my son
What's
has
the
a
next?
conversation with me without me necessarily having a conversation with him. Because it's like, I want to do this, I want to do this.
Your son is extraordinary.
Whatever.
First of all, he needs to be here with us right now.
Whatever.
No, I can say I do. The main thing I tell my seeds is that I'm tired of every generation in my family starting over.
Okay.
I'm tired of people starting over. We all got to start over. You know, there's nothing left to us, nothing left for us to stand on unless they done took out an insurance policy and our beloved got to change form for us to be a beneficiary. With that being said, yes, of course, I did take out life insurance policies on all my seeds when they was babies, but I don't want that to be the reason that they, you know, come into prosperity. I don't want that to be the reason that they have a foundation.
That's a whole conversation right
Yeah, totally.
People don't even
conversation.
believe in life insurance.
But you know, but what's crazy is that
People don't believe in life
Europeans
No.
don't think like that. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Europeans don't think like that.
That's the thing.
Though, what people don't like have life insurance?
So, yeah,
There's
that's a lot.
have you
I can
not
understand
seen?
not having it,
What do you
but not
mean
believing
though?
in it.
If you, to me, if you
You
don't,
saying that's
if
one
you
of
don't
the
have
sayings.
it, you don't believe in it. Like, what's supposed to happen to me if I have? I don't have.
You believe in it, yeah, okay.
No, it's a problem. And there's a lot of us who don't believe in that because then you see all these GoFundMes and these crowdfunding.
Yeah, just to bury.
They cracking
you
cards.
Yeah.
They cracking cards.
No, they
That's
not.
different.
Listen, let me tell you something. I have a cousin that in the South did some illegal things, but guess what? He had life insurance policies. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, but there's a demographic of people that just will not do that.
So I think it's some knowledge base. If somebody talk to you seriously, some people honestly, and all that we're saying, sometimes some people just don't have anybody to talk to them and tell
Let me
them
let you know.
the real.
Let me let
If
you
you
know.
have, I got a couple of uncles, you know what I'm saying, and people, you know what I'm saying, that's going to say, this is what you have to do. They're going to talk to you, and they're going to come question you, and they're going to make you feel bad when you haven't done it yet at some point. So even if I was out here serving or doing this and that, it doesn't matter. They're going to talk to me about it.
And I still know people that do not buy into life insurance policies.
They
And that's
expect,
real.
I mean, then
The only way for
I
you
mean, I'm not
to
speaking
not.
specifically to the people that you're talking about, but they're supposed to perish.
Well, guess what though? At the
That's
end of
not
the
the
day,
selection.
so that means if you do not buy into this whole life insurance policy concept, that means you're supposed to have enough money leaving behind where you can take care of
You know, when I said that, I thought about it. I thought about something real quick. I don't want to expose this. Let me think about what I'm about to say.
Hey, you not already playing.
I don't have life insurance policies on my children.
Well, you should get life insurance policies.
You know
on
why?
your children. Why?
Years ago, I was about to do it. I said, hey, I work in a family situation. I said, hey, I ain't coming in tomorrow because I got to go talk to, you know what I'm saying, State Farm. I'm doing this and that. And whatever. For what? What you mean for what? I got 2 on this one, 2 on that one. They college already did this for that one. It had already been set up. And my family had already set all these things up. That I had to have it was like a conversation. It was like a back and forth. I was only doing it just to, I'm lying actually. I do have it. Because I just wanted to do it.
Because I was going to say, that's your family.
Yeah, I just wanted to do it.
'Cause
It was
at the end
very
of the day-
unnecessary for me to do it. In a way, I'm kind of wasting money.
Well, I don't look at it
Because
like
what are we
that.
doing it for? We're doing it for them to go to college and unseen and have money. Actually, it's already taken care of. And this is that other culture that we're talking about. So the family has made it to a point in time, a place where we could actually set those things up for
So
our
as a parent, that's
where
not
a
necessary?
grandparent can say, I already did that for my grandchildren.
But as a parent, that's not
You
necessary.
don't have to do that. You wasting time.
But as a parent, that's not necessary.
I felt it was necessary, but it was mostly ego.
But I'm just saying, like, so for instance, my parents, they have this for my son, they have this for me, or whatever. But as a parent, that's not necessary. That's your responsibility as a
In
parent.
certain situations, but I was speaking to when I said that as the average person, but then I realized I'm actually lying right there. My situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to do that. It was already taken care of when I got ready to do it. It was already taken care of.
Or your situation will not
And
warrant.
and maybe I want to do it for my grandchildren.
But guess what? Your situation is not going to warrant these people to do GoFundMe's on behalf of you because you didn't
Right.
have the resources, or your family didn't have the resources to bury your child.
Right. So
God forbid
as
something
he was
like
speaking
that
to
happen.
earlier, it's probably a whole sector of people. We're not
Oh,
gonna say
there
who they
is.
are,
There
that don't
is.
necessarily have to worry about such a thing in a certain way.
And that's my bigger point is that, like, even with the life insurance policies, yeah, we do that, and we have the mind frame that this is an eventuality. We know it's an inevitability at the end of the day. We're gonna change form, but it's an eventuality. You know, insurance in case shit happens. Whereas other ethnicities, they're conditioned and programmed as it pertains to them generating finance and how they go about building their financial infrastructure within their families. They are born and bred to create old money. You know what I'm saying? They ain't, on no, we're gonna put flowers over their grave and sing praises over them when they pass. They want them to smell the motherfuckers while they're here. And that's the mind frame that we got to get back into as a people. I don't want to have to die in order for my children to reap the benefits of whatever my life amounted to as far as net worth.
I think that's part of the purpose of the conversation, because in listening to the two of you two, knowing what she's instilled into her son and these things like that, and his father, what's put into him. I've never been around the two of you and children, but I can imagine that knowing how you two speak and talking to y'all got jewels for these people. Like Rell, this is the most extended conversation I've ever had with Rell, actually. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And like I said, when you speaking, it made me smile. Like, shit.
Yeah, because that's what you got to
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're saying some things, and I know I do that to other people. You doing it to me, so that's a different. I don't usually get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it from him too, like you said. He has a certain mind state that actually conveys a lot of information, and you sometimes you're like, okay, that's why he's here all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he has something to say that people need to hear. Same thing I talk to Ty. Puerto Rican princess.
You fight with this, bro. Like, so I just demonstrated.
But so I expect that we pass this on to our children. Yeah, we expect that all our children, our nieces, the people up under us. And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, when all this is,
that's the whole point of us doing all these things. We spread this information to our children. We make sure they get all the knowledge that it takes to, hopefully, they don't have to get out there and beg for a job. Because I think at the end of the day, that's what's the problem. I have been in this situation here, and I decided to leave it. And then I had too much pride to come back to it. So I went when 2008 happened and real estate said go to hell. And it was time for me to come back. I had too much pride, so I went to Robert Half, and I said, hey, let me take y'all a test. I know some stuff about business and this and that and bookkeeping and all that. And I took them tests and I said, yeah, you do. And they started sending me out to different companies. And I remember going to a company, and it was on the west side, it was a company, some type of manufacturing. And it was, I was working with me, a white version of me. It was crazy. It really did something to me. It was that's how I came back here, because I saw a guy who was working. His grandfather started the business. His father now owned it. He went to college. Him and his brother went to college. Now they graduated. Nothing to do with this business, but they came back. They went to college just for kicks, basically, for experience. Mm-hmm. Now they came back to the business to actually work and further the family business. And I'm sitting there working for them, and I'm thinking like, I got my own family business to go to. I got my own thing to do. And what am I doing here? Helping y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's actually what got me back. But, you know, it's a thing that will, I hope to do. Not even if it not even be this one, because this is something that may not necessarily exist in the future. But if it be my own, because the bug is in me, as we talked about earlier, wherever it is, I want to be able to have an option for my children, so they don't have to go out and just beg for a job. And that's what I really, because in this world, I learned through real estate that I thought I was rich. I thought it was over with. I thought, you know what I'm saying? I literally, as silly as it's stupid, I would be remiss not to mention, I remember plotting on the Bentley. I remember thinking like, I do this and I do this. Step 3 is get the Bentley. I'm gonna get the Bentley and I'm gonna stun on these fools. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember. Now, granted, I was in my 20s. I was in my 20s and I was young.
I should have been on some acreage.
Right.
Evolution.
Right.
Acreage,
Right. So I had this mentality back then where I was thinking like that. But now it's different. I understand where that was wrong. I understand where that was silly, but I was getting a little bit caught up into the world and this of having money and that kind of stuff right there. And I'm seeing other people doing this. And in that time in real estate, stunning made you more money. So if you stun on somebody, you say, "Oh, you want a Bentley too?" Then do what I do. Do what I say. And then you take money from them. Then you take their money. You know what I'm saying? That was a hustle. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, just being real. That's what they was doing. That's what was going on.
I don't know. You know, I definitely want to be able to put this on to we don't have to, like, our children can have a better future, and we can build and possibly that leads to Black Wall Street situation. And that's not separatism. If I have noticed in your conversation over here, it's not, I don't feel like race is bothering your situation. You're not focused on it.
No, again, you know, it's about inclusion. Although my passion is for our people, but I got all type of folks.
You're not worried about that.
I know, man. Literally, man. I know I got Asians, Africans, European, you name them, bro. I got I got access to them, you know, just from the network. So,
Yeah.
so I really view it that way, you know.
Yeah, green got one color.
So,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
on that note, is before I end, I will say I actually spoke to Rock up there when he was on. Rock stole his health kit.
yeah.
I was bumping into him in the health kit in the health
Get up
food
there, yeah.
and heritage over
Yeah.
there.
You
know what I'm
He
saying?
definitely striving.
Hey,
Do the smooth
Rock,
thing.
Rock, you done hit me a million times about coming to get it in with me, bro. I'm waiting on you.
Yeah.
I'm hit it up early, man. He been in that 5
I know he on it, but shit, we supposed to get it together. This is perfect.
Let me pause before I was going to get out of here. The early morning workout. What do y'all think about that?
I love it. Well, for me, I mean, that's my preference.
What's early morning? Like
Early
5,
morning, I
6
think
a.m.?
equates to business, right?
It does,
Well,
kinda.
Now, for me, it's a mind frame. Like, well, my schedule fluctuates, so I can really give you perspective of the difference. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't be on a set schedule, you know, due to my, managerial conflicts with my current position.
When we say early, we talking like 5, 6.
Yeah, like however early.
I just know that
AM.
when I can't quote them right now because I ain't like real. I can't quote the books that I've listened to because I don't read them. I listen to them. I've noticed this common thread: working out in the morning with these people who have made this money, getting up in the morning and working out. And I have done it from time to time, and I do enter my day a little bit differently. And I'm trying to get to this place.
I got some advantages. I mean, I work out in the morning. You know,
I agree.
I think for me, one of the things they probably can give you a little bit more education for us on the physical side. You know, so what I do is, I juice. I use a NutriBullet. You know, so I usually do one meal and then I do I juice for my lunch and for my dinner. And so what I do is, what I found out what made me start doing it was, usually that last meal of the day, that's when you pick up your most weight. Them carbs end up turning into sugar. So what I first started doing, I took off that last meal. But what I like to do is, I go in the morning to work out, so I start to burn the carbs that I had for the previous day. So I don't eat. So that way I'm pulling, and I'm actually replenishing. And so the other piece of it is your metabolism.
Well, I smile like turn this niggas out.
So that's another reason why I do it in the morning as well. And then another, for me personally, in the morning, that's my most consistent time of the day. So when I hop in the day, once again, it ain't no telling what's going to hop off in the business.
Right. Now I feel you making sense.
Ain't telling what's going to hop out. And then the last piece for me, though, so my company is it's international. So usually when I come online at 7, let's say 7 p.m. for us. I mean, it's 12 hours ahead. Usually they come out. So I'm usually doing my communicating in the morning. In between I go in from 7 or I come in back at 4 a.m. Because usually I try to get my days going at 4 a.m. So for me, how my day is structured though, it's a little bit more beneficial for me. But from a metabolism standpoint, from me saying it's more proficient. So those are just a few things why I do it in the morning, Okay. So, yeah. And then I say you got your freshness too, So you get through work and throughout the day you work, done did all you did, and then you got to hit the gym, man. It's a task sometimes, bro.
Honestly, for myself personally,
it's easy,
and my own personal development, I feel like that's the last key is being able to not be out here doing podcasts till 12 o'clock, and be able to get up in the morning and get that early start, get flux. Because I recognize that feeling where my juices are flowing, I'm going, and like you said, I can start handling this business. There's some things and logistics that I want to get into, as far as freight brokerage and all that kind of thing, where I need to be up early for this. I need to be going. And if I'm going to do it, I need to be there for it. I need to be present. Because me personally, I'm a midday person. People in this office here know me. They start giggling. They say, "Oh, here he go. It's like it's time to leave." And he going. He got all these questions. He's talking. You know what I'm saying? It's 3 o'clock. I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Like I start moving around this time. So even this where we at right now is part of that time. You know what I'm saying? It goes to about 2 o'clock. So I won't go to sleep till 1 or 2 o'clock. Wake up last minute. Get going. Wake up slow, grind, and then get around to that 12 o'clock. and it's not proficient for business.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not proficient for business. It's working, it's getting me by. But if I feel like for my own personal growth and judging myself, which I think we have to do if we're going to be doing business, you got to be self-aware.
yeah, no problem.
That's what my last key is. I need to be able to get up, get early, and maybe that morning workout is what I need to do. Because I'm a workout person, I'm a runner. So I need to
You gonna have to
get up
early, bro.
and get that early run in. But I'm
I mean,
running, but right now I'm running at 6 a.m. I'm 6 p.m.
Well, see, you got
That's my
again.
thing.
If you're gonna do it, bro, as I said, man, you got to know when your days end and when they begin, and so saying that to say, man, you can't go to bed early and get up, go to bed late and get up early, bro. You're gonna be burning the candles on both ends.
It don't work.
So you're gonna have to get to bed early, you know. In order for me to really stay consistent like I-4, I try to get down by like 9, man. I'm gone. For a while, they didn't even call me, man. They didn't call me hit. When I get up, I holler.
Hey, go bed time right now.
Right.
Straight like
Shut
that.
me. I mean, I don't hit me that road. Don't call real after 9. You done. You gonna holler at me at 3:34 a.m. I'm up.
Oh, really?
You know, you'll have to get to bed early, bro.
Sex life over.
Yeah, but you know the thing is, it's like the point.
These are my hours.
It really bring it all to one central point.
Right.
When the mind and body becomes one, you know what I'm saying? That's when you really in tune with your own circadian cycle. You feel me? And
What's that word you said?
Circadian.
Circadian, what
Your circadian cycle. That's the cycle.
I'm gonna ask.
Your body. No.
What?
No, all about that. I mean, we all know we in tune with the universe. We in tune with like we've been born, bred, you know, from not only a physiological standpoint, but mentally it's embedded in us. You know, what do we operate off of, regardless of what culture, where we at, what corner of the earth we reside in. We draw off time as it pertains to minutes, seconds, hours, days, weeks, months, years. You know, we all base everything on the concept of time. So accordingly, our bodies have what we call a circadian cycle, you know, which is roughly the 24-hour period that we're accustomed to calling a day. You know, right? And it's biological, what we call a biological clock.
Okay,
You feel me? So once you really in tune with that, and you able to analyze what are my peak hours of efficiency, what you know it's a certain time of day when you kind of out of law.
But I know what it is. I feel like
Yeah, but you can
Mind
modify
don't
it. That's
matter.
what I said.
I can
When
make
the
it
mind and
right.
body
Yeah,
becomes
yeah.
one, you can adjust that accordingly. You know what I'm saying? And the funny thing is, as it pertains to people who are really able to dictate their own work schedule or their own schedules of conducting business, you know what I'm saying, which is speaking to what you was just demonstrating, you can adjust your own body circadian rhythm to where, okay, no matter what may transpire within that 24, this is the hour for me to rest, this is the hour for me to conduct my affairs, this is the hour for me to do my miscellaneous. You know, you can kind of get in sync with that and make it a routine to where it's most beneficial to your body. So, as it pertains to working out in the morning, yeah, most of us are our circadian rhythm and our circadian clock. In the morning, that's when our metabolism is highest.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying? So, therefore...
And I eat, and for me personally, we're going to make it really, I guess we made it about me. Yeah. I eat late.
Right, and see,
So
that's where you get it'll kill you unless you take it in. Because I eat because I'm drawing in moderation. What I'm doing right now, as far as my training and my regimen, I can afford to eat late, but I'm not eating carbs right now. You know what I'm saying? It might be a little bit of healthy fats, but it's going to be majority protein if I decide to eat right now because of what I'm doing. But in the morning, just psychologically, it sets your tone for the day. You consciously make better decisions throughout the course of the day.
I feel like when I do make it, it may be like once or twice a month where I do make it out in the morning, and I do feel certain different aspects. When I come to work and I do my thing, I feel a certain way that I'm clear from the jump. I'm a little more snappier and more on point. And there's more energy, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want to have. I need to have that, but it takes some discipline. We haven't used that word,
but you can find a balance.
But discipline is what we need, and I haven't had that because I'm a liar on Facebook, right? People think I'm so righteous, but at nighttime I be in the clubs.
You just ain't posting that shit. You ain't posting that shit. But
I ain't posting it, though.
It's about that. It's about that balance because, like I said, my schedule fluctuates. So I've always traditionally been a morning person. Like no matter what, I pop up. I'm popping up in the morning.
Person.
Yeah, it's. I mean, part of it is the fact that I got being a single father and got the daughters at the crib and they getting up for school, don't know how to be the fuck quiet and just go about their business. Yeah, I'm saying they don't know. Yeah, but shit, they know daddy need his rest. But either way it go, but my mind, I'm always popping up early in the AM. So if I don't have to work, going to the gym is automatic. But on the flip side of that, when I open in the morning and like working out in the evening, especially the strenuous weight training or whatever, things that I do, that's a decision. In the morning, it's kind of automatic. Like, you get up, you pop up. I'm doing, and even if I'm fasted or whether I'm taking in some carbs to give me the source of energy, it's automatic in the morning. But in the evening, I have to make that decision because
and it's easy to be like,
I'm not sure. Right. So that mental fortitude that it takes to get it in the evening after you already had a full day, and I've noticed that once my energy levels surpass what they were in the morning, like from a cardio standpoint. In the evening, I'm a lot more amped up because psychologically, I'm thinking. Yeah, I condition myself to think that way. I condition myself to draw that way because I'm thinking in the evening when I'm going to get it, now I'm earning it. Now I'm earning everything.
You say in the evening you feel like that?
In the evening I feel like I'm earning it. Because
so you working out 2 times a day?
My natural,
You feeling out 2 times? You working out 2 times a day?
Yeah, I do 2 a day on my off days and when I can fit in.
That's another level.
But right now,
I'm trying to get a 6-pack out here.
But right now I'm on a 6-day
split. If I give you mornings, that's no evening.
But now it's a 6-day split.
JC said it's hard to wake up. I see you, JC.
Yes, JC, I agree.
She said it's hard to get up in the morning.
It is a struggle.
No, in the morning I'm up already.
But even if I'm up in the morning, I'm still struggling. I do not wake up until like 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Right, but go try it. Go, damn.
No, this has been my whole life. This has been my whole life.
Hold on, I think I heard that correctly.
Go to school, your ass would have been.
Listen, my day would need to start from like noon to 8 or 9 or something. Like my mother always told me, she's like, the older you get, the easier it'll get. She's lying because it has not gotten any easier for me. But I will say, me working out in the morning, it does give me a little bit more energy. I will say that. Once I get to that point,
it is just self-destruction because you know it's
ain't no structure.
You make as far as making
it is, but it's not.
As it pertains to your diet, you inherently make better decisions throughout the day because you don't want to feel like you done fucked your workout off. You know what I'm saying? Like I done went in here and put in 2 hours or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm saying, like, that's when I wake. Not to say that I'm.
7 o'clock. That's late. I'm like, yo,
I might be up that early, but I'm not awake.
I need to get like that's what I'm trying to get to.
That's what I'm saying. I'm awake, but I may not be able to.
I need to get up at 5.
I am not functioning, but partly because
I pour some more vodka.
But guess what? Just because we enhance this podcast. I'm gonna post me at 8 in the morning working out tomorrow.
Like I'm supposed to go to my doctor's.
Look, y'all pouring up. I don't know what is it, close to 12, but I promise you, I'm gonna post me some shit in the AM.
Sometimes I gotta wait right back sweat it out.
Look, I hope I make it to my body kicks tomorrow.
Let me close it out too, because
already. Oh, Brew, I was. Hey, Brew, you just popped in. I don't know how you come in, because I need a young mind in this thing. No. No, my little homie Bruce popped up.
Like I'm in tune with it. I ain't heard no footsteps.
Hey Gibbs, I fuck with you too, bro. You need to come out the thing. I see you on there. But my little homie, Ken, I was thinking about when I was doing this podcast, I wanted to have like some of the guys come through who I was gonna have come through, and I thought about like we do this podcast from a midlife. She don't like to agree to this. We midlife. I don't care what
We are
you
not
think.
midlife.
We midlife. We here. You know what I'm saying? Perspective. What we had like certain people. Our perspectives about all these different situations come from this point. So we're almost talking down to some people. So sometimes I like to include some of the younger people. So when we talking about younger people in business, I start seeing some of the younger homies. So I got like some younger homies who I feel like, you know what I'm saying, got potential to do some things. So I see them moving. And they may not be doing all of it, but they doing equivalent of what we used to do in the past. And I see how that could equate for some people to where they can get to a different level and do some good things, you know what I'm saying, with it. So, like, I wish I would have called my man to have him come in and politic with us and get a little bit more information and so forth, because I want to figure out a way to, you know what I'm saying, to get him to that point, because I see it. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody can be even greater than me and help me when I'm, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they can help me later on, you know what I'm saying? You never know. So, in and all this, you know what I'm saying, this conversation, look, we're not going to go all night with this. I think we had a good conversation about business. I think the main points have been taken. You put a lot of information about the actual details of business. May have went over some people's heads, you know, a little bit, you know what I'm saying, but it definitely did go over mine, and for me it was kind of you didn't mean to. I'm going to use the word learn. I learned some things from you tonight, you know what I'm saying? And some people may think they learned stuff from me. But here, I feel like there was some good information passed out there. Merle, too. Merle, you got potential to do some big things, too. Because I ain't never, man, these young boys wake up in the morning and think of a hustle every day. How they do that? Every day think of a new hustle? That's different. That's different than what we had to do. We had the same hustle, you know what I'm saying, for some time. But when somebody wake up in the morning and think, what am I going to do today to make money? And then they come up with it. And the next day, that's that rock type of shit we was talking about. It's a few of them. Ain't that many rocks out here. It's a different one. I will figure out how I'm going to make money today. Ooh, I don't know nothing about that life. You know what I'm saying? But I got a couple little homies that got that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they going to get that, you know what I'm saying, get to some different situations later on in life that they probably don't even know they're going to get to. And it's going to be on the legal side. That's going to really make something. And maybe be a part of conversations like this is what it takes. And that's what the whole purpose of this podcast is, to be able to put the information out there and have conversations that we having in private. I'm having in my place with my people. I'm having over somebody else's house. But this podcast is a place where we can actually have these conversations and spread it through the internet, which is a weird thing in itself that we were told we weren't supposed to do in the past. But we see benefits in this internet. Wellness is benefiting from it, and you know what I'm saying, what you do is going to benefit from it, and so forth and so on. When I do my CPR classes that I do on the side, they benefit from it. So this internet does definitely affords us some benefits by existing. So these conversations that we have are also, I feel like, need to spread through the world and permeate people's minds and have some good information for them. So I'm not gonna prolong this business. Smoke just joined in. What up, bro? I'm about to join out though.